any price.
Number one in your life's blueprint.
Bear any burden.
A deep belief.
Oppose any foe.
In your own dignity, your own worth.
To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
And get out of my ring!
Hanson is brutalizing Lex Luger.
And Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in 1947.
Johnny Unitas, who I actually got to go into camp with.
John Layfield will move on to round 2.
Now how do you like them apples? Look at these electric bikes. Does anybody pedal bikes anymore?
I worked for Ted Turner for 13 years, and he started CNN.
Pete Babcock has moved on to round number 2.
They stoop to the arrogant.
From Rookie of the Year to World Tag Team Champion 5 times.
Officially in round number 2 of the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament is Marcus Buff Bagwell.
Happens. The Barry puts it up from the corner. ABA takes the 7 point. Bombs away. Oh! Touchdown, Willie Gault!
They fixed 86 games.
One of his biggest recruits he was after was Eric Dickerson.
Rick Barry moves on to round 2 as Jim McMahon wins. He moves on to round 2 of this tournament.
Tonight, he'll face Chris Jericho.
Flair having something behind it. Very Cooperage.
2 guys standing there. Zip.
There's things that John Carpenter does that most other directors just wouldn't think to do.
B. Brian Blair advances to round number 2.
Body's ready, heart's on fire. Gonna push it over the wire. Perfect time.
So, brothers, we've always thrived on one thing: being the predominant champion.
Most popular shows in history.
Together, they became a duo that was unmatched in baseball history.
Fred Ottman have moved on to round number 2 officially.
Roger's gonna drive the car in.
It is so good to see you.
Because we're seeing who they are just on TV or a movie.
He has all the advantages and none of the advantages of kryptonite.
Stephen Tobolowsky barely ekes out a win against Todd Bridges.
Johnson at the buzzer.
Is it right? Yep. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Taylor.
And I wrote this book by myself without a ghostwriter.
It's how well you can talk your way to a job, too.
Eddie Johnson and Jumping Jim Brunzell have moved on and advanced to round 2.
You miserable little surf top. I'm gonna make you hurt. Yeah!
$175 on the bar, makes it look easy.
The Gulf of Tonkin did not happen. For all intents and purposes, any historian will tell you that's what started the war. It would never happen. We were coming off McCarthyism, we were coming off the Red Scare, and we know that the people in charge of our country, even those that were not commanders-in-chief.
And the human life on both sides. It was not respected on both sides.
Every athlete, they would love this show. How do we get all of the academics, the athletes to watch? There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
Couldn't land in Chicago.
I don't understand what Wichita has to do with a snowstorm.
With wheels and I'm butt naked don't give you the right to dish. You know what I'm saying?
You're the ones we saw in front of the castle.
I am Ted of San Dimas.
All of a sudden, the concept of satellite infused with a personal device.
Even today, kids are even doing thrill.
Tommy Davidson is officially in the second round of the Grand Debate Tournament. Diane Franklin has also moved on.
Yours. And last week it was you that called me out, and it was me that called your number.
Dignified is the word often associated with Lenny.
And they're on a path to go find private run.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for young people.
Mr. Allen defeats Mr. Lenny Wilkins.
Stay here while I go talk to him.
My daughter is too good for you.
School district would go after great athletes.
Jeremy London has a rebuttal.
It's been proven that that's not true. It wasn't even considered actually like a class.
Jeremy London has moved on to round number 2.
Because the way you're looking at me, we must be old friends. Where do we meet?
Terrific.
No different than playing football. It's a fight on each side.
This friendship is very, very close to my heart.
Mrs. D. Wallace moves on to round number 2. Eric Dickerson with 40 points also moves on to round number 2.
Alexander Knox.
Oh, I read your work.
And now, this is where the big girls play.
Same year, he did these two movies, Yankee Doodle Dandy and Casablanca.
There's one thing about Plant that I don't think Freddie Mercury was equivalent to.
You dirty dog.
Look at that! There's really a lot of parallels there.
Can we go back to why Ray Lewis is the best? Okay, never mind.
Nikita Koloff will move on to round number points. Richard Klein will also move to round number 2.
You have to have a little faith in people.
So why don't you just admit that you're chick?
You're damn right.
Back and you realize, oh my gosh, I've learned so much in my life. And
You know how hard it is to get young people to go to the theater.
One at a time. Dan Loria and Mariel Hemingway both move on to round number 2.
Something that's thicker than water and thicker than your blood. My money.
Perfect woman. Who would have thought I would meet mine as I stood at the gates of hell?
I should never go out with a guy like me. He's got us there.
So everybody goes, how'd you get in the wrestling business? I said, my dad was a wrestler.
It was the war to end all wars.
Selling of it to the youth by the machine that is the music industry.
Warren Nemec will advance to round 2. Ted DiBiase as he moves on to round number 2. Mr. DiBiase, you're moving on to round 2.
However, in Ferris's case, I can
One of my favorite albums, maybe forgotten by most people.
So I started coming up with maggots.
they didn't want the filming to take away from the audience.
He will be the first to advance in this group to round number 2. Sergeant Slaughter, which moves on to the second round.
And I've had a long career working with Stephen King.
This is Michael.
I mean, he's kind of like one of these characters out of The Monster.
That is so much fun, and it's best watched with a group.
Possessing the tools that it takes to.
Jazzy gun it, huh? You are the one who's lost favor with them. But my favorite of all is Jamal Wills.
You know, and I can look at the sadness now, and a lot of it I can laugh at.
They beat the Soviet Union, greatest game of all time.
But they've been pushed down by society, pushed through the education system.
Barry Darce will be moving on to round number 2. Bill Eadie will also be moving on.
And the American dream lives on in Minnesota.
These aren't standardized tests. These are his grades.
Are you listening to me?
Art comedy, it's hard to get it made.
I'm going to learn how to game this system.
This film needs to come back because of the world situation.
Bruce Davison and Mark Metcalf move to round number 2. Is Jesse Ventura, who also moves to round number 2.
Because I can control this sport with one move, DDT.
50% of it, attitude, style.
How precious gift of life is.
Things that you could aspire to, some degree of hope.
Because there was hope. I hung on just long enough to come out the other side. I became the man my mom prayed for all those years.
Guys, Jake Roberts will be moving on to round 2. Christopher Playmartin moves on to round number 2 as well.
We take it one step at a time.
I'm trying to win this entire thing.
Well, just like in sports, I'm sure Jim would say the same thing. You don't play for individual awards. You play.
Well, yeah, I'd love to be able to say I beat all these guys in the debate.
It's about the pride and the pride.
Prize is pretty darn good too.
That's the pride. It's always about the.
I've come here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum, brother.
At the end of the day, it really is about winning.
Yeah, heck yeah, I'm here to win. It's in my DNA.
And I'm waiting to kick 31 people's asses tonight.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm here to do my best to try to win.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, everybody has some pride.
Victory has 1,000 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. I plan on winning tonight.
She's in here doing mental push-ups.
Winning is really important. But what's even greater is inspiring. And bro, that's what you do with this show.
Well, you're in it to win it, or why be in it at all, right?
I'm about winning.
I think I'd be more interested in the prize.
It's about the prize.
Avi, I am here to go for the gusto.
Why not? Why are you keeping score if you don't want to win it?
Though I'm not super competitive, I would like to win this. So there you go.
We all want to win, right?
I'm here to win. I'll do the best I can and leave it up to the voters.
Of course, I'd love to win.
I'm always in it to win it, Avi.
Because I'm definitely in it to win it.
I've already won because I'm sure I'm going to be enlightened by our other guests.
I hate losing. I want to go to Greece.
It's about the pride. You don't want to come in second. You want to be first.
Do you concur with Mark? Are you here to win the whole thing?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Well, of course I am. I don't do nothing to lose.
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
Yes! I'm going to win it all, man.
I'm winning it all, baby.
I don't play. I just win.
Good.
That's
hear more about that hole-in-one. It's the sister of Mary Hartman. I can't think of the character's name.
I think she played Kathy Shumway, maybe?
Yeah, she was Kathy Shumway. Very good. That's very impressive. You got a good workshop you're doing. This is what's going on in your workshop.
This behavior will stop this instant.
Last name Matthews, first name Dakin. Welcome to the green.
A lot of us came into this world on November 7th, 1940.
Isn't that incredible?
Sweep the leg.
But you're sheer 9 or 10. You're probably 9.5.
Oh.
10 is no one's perfect. But honest to God, you're terrific. You do your homework. And
I appreciate
I've done
that.
everybody. I've done, in the 80s, I did Johnny Carson. I did Merv Griffin. I did it all. And you're very energetic and good, and you ask the right questions.
Last name Reed, welcome to the celebrity tournament, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. I agree with all your previous guests. You give good intro, you know.
If I see any smirking, this class is over. And honestly, another trio of questions, now more underrated. We have Billy D. Williams, Italian man named Skippy, or unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Avi. That's yeah.
They sold the merchandise and merch.
They put their own sequels in the movie ahead of time.
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
3, we need to abolish the political parties.
Last name Ventura, first name Jesse.
I'll tell you this, Avi, you definitely do your homework. Hey, like I said, the good thing about you do your frickin' homework. You're extremely prepared, much more prepared than most interviewers that I get.
Say, do me a favor, give me that cigarette.
Hey, you happy? Hey, that's my water, for Christ's sakes!
Oh, where'd you get that book from?
Yeah, there we go.
That's my yearbook. But baby, I tell you what, you did your homework.
Could you have fun here on the green room?
Anytime you want me back, I'll be here, brother.
And John Amos.
Man, what an introduction. I hope I can live up to that. God bless you.
I'm prepared to take on this challenge of this wonderful monologue that you've written, and I couldn't think of anything I'd rather do after I read it again for maybe the 3rd or 4th time. I wish that I'd had the time to commit it to memory because it deserves that. Giving me your thoughts and your input, because as I told you, that piece that you sent me is, I love good writing.
First name Darso, first name Barry.
Holy cow, what an intro that was. I couldn't have said it better than myself. Unbelievable. Thank you.
Bill, welcome to the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. What an introduction, I'll tell you. It's amazing.
That was one of the best introductions I've ever had in my entire life. It was better than my bar mitzvah.
Did you have that bad dream again?
Did you find the technique itself helpful when it came to observing your scene partner staying present instead of strictly relying upon memory?
That's a great question, Avi. Yeah.
Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person?
But I really enjoyed this, man. You're a smart guy and you ask really good questions. And
What an incredible introduction, Avi. That is probably the best introduction I've probably ever had.
Last name DiBiase, first name Ted. Ted DiBiase, welcome to the TCAN Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament, my friend.
Brother, I'm going to take you with me everywhere to get an introduction. That's the best introduction I've ever had in my life. Right. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. This, and it's so positive.
Mark, welcome to the TCAN Celebrity Grand Tournament, my friend.
Think positive. Oh my gosh, Avi, man, I feel like I just ran a marathon listening to that, man.
Christopher Martin, welcome, my friend.
Incredible. I hope you didn't mind it. I filmed that intro you just did for me because I'm going to play that on my low self-esteem days. Set me up. So thank you.
Jake Roberts, welcome to the TCAN Celebrity Grand Tournament, my friend.
Wow, that was scary.
Bruce Davison, welcome to the tournament, my friend.
That was great, man. Where did you dig that all up? That's amazing.
Last name Ventura, first name Jesse. Jesse Ventura, welcome to the TCAN Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Thank you, Avi. It's great to be here and great to be back interviewed by you. It's been far too long.
Never been out with a girl before. You made me laugh, too. It was great.
Yeah, I think Alf would be wisecracking while the alien would be tearing everybody apart, I guess. Let's talk about some of the 80s horror classics.
I was saying hang in, and now I know why.
Fine. Would you let me do improvisation on the...
Dally Kirkland, welcome to the green room.
How did you do that thing where you were talking so fast? How did you learn how to do that?
I don't know.
Very few people can do what you did. Well, the acting teacher here, 35 years, commends you on your ability to do that. I'm very impressed.
Because I've done podcasts in the past, and so what have you done, and what are you going to be doing later? This is fantastic. I mean, this gets your juices going.
Thank you.
You know, it gets you thinking.
Thank you.
Just we had fun. You know, it's fun and it is educational. So
did I have a good time? Yes, I had a good time.
Did you have fun tonight, my friend?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Looking for
being around people who are willing and open. I like that.
I did have a good time. It was very fun. It was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be, and I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate the opportunity. It was exhilarating. Like Barry, I didn't know what to expect. I enjoyed it.
You bring smart people together and people from different walks of life. It's good to be able to see that you bring people together that, you know what, maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show. And I want you to accept the accolades that you get from all of these brilliant people. They tell you that you're smart. They tell you that you're exposed. They tell you thank you for bringing everybody together. Like these are comments and compliments that you have to say, thank you very much, I accept.
My name is Sergeant Slaughter.
Wasn't sure what to expect, but you're number one in my book as far as putting on a podcast, knowing what you know.
You know, I just think it was really good company, and you're terrific. And I've never done something like this before, so it was fun.
When we met in his science exam.
No, you know what? You're a very interesting person. With all this rhyming stuff, you must really put a lot of effort into this, and I would love to read or see something that you've written, because I'm sure it's really interesting.
Underrated and why? Sauerkraut, Henry Kissinger's deep soothing voice, or dogs wearing sweaters?
I like dogs wearing sweaters.
Your jack of all trades is teaching this craft as rewarding for you as performing it.
I think sometimes it's more rewarding. Where did you do your research? I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. You do a great job preparing.
A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
I hope you're getting paid a lot, because that was the greatest intro I think I've ever had. Highly impressed. I would give this a very high A.
Tonight as well, my friend.
Oh, I did. It was like a high school reunion.
Yeah, no, it's terrific and it's fun, and keep bringing diverse personalities together. I think that's great. And it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other today.
Eric, how are you, my friend?
What's up, Vic? How you doing, man? I like that introduction. Golly, I didn't know that stuff about myself. This is, I think my top. I mean, because when you do the intro you gave me, I gotta give it to you. I like.
You deserve it. Later on, you were able to get her cast on a series, and she received her SAG card. Is that right?
Oh, I love you that you brought that up. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
What an honor to meet you, and
My
you're
pleasure.
great.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Courtney, did you have a lot of fun too as well?
Oh yeah. I thank God I had sports topic.
I had a great time tonight. If you keep rhyming, man. The opening salvo is very, very entertaining. And like I said, it gave like a battle rap spoken word.
Usually I'll do interviews and get asked the same questions about Stephen King. This was great to talk about things that matter, that go beyond projects.
Last name Johnson, first name Ed.
Wow! When I have a retirement party, even at my funeral, you better show up.
Papa Smurf as a hip hop artist?
Yo, yeah.
Avi, man, you're very talented. That's amazing.
Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom. So I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time. If you'd like me to do that, Tom, I could do that.
I don't know what I can do now.
Mr. Coogan, first name Keith.
Oh my God, what a great introduction. Fantastic. You do your research. You nailed it. Now I know why. This is why you continue to great guests, and great guests beget great guests.
I was trying to see you, still an unsung hero, waiting for my ship.
Fun is fabulous.
Funky chicken. Two Shakespeare.
So I'm excited.
Good. How you feeling, John?
Terrific.
Guys and gals and pals, as you know, it is Saturday night right now, and you are in the right place. Over 6 to sometimes 7-figure views on 53 pages. We started with a big donut a couple years back, but thanks to you, the engine that makes this thing go. As you know, guys and gals, that intro. If that intro doesn't give you chills, then ask your folks for a refund because you ain't human. As we observed in that intro, do your best, and the rest is history, so said Harry Truman. I don't deem numbers as the end-all, be-all, but they do tell a story. As of tonight, 25 Hall of Famers, 25 major award winners and nominees have entered this tournament where positivity reigns supreme. This ain't Maury. With $13,000 a trip for 2 to Greece on the line and the pride of being the one out of over 70 of the best in their field reaching the mountaintop, it is impossible to predict who will be the one. One thing is for sure, we sure are having a ton of fun. I dub this edutainment because we entertain and we educate, and with over 133 different topics that have been discussed, we also yearn to learn at every turn, so no need to adjourn or live in a place of concern. I will always pay homage to my mentor Richard Donner, the director of Superman, Goonies, Lethal Weapon, The Omen, and many more indeed. He once said, there are many writers that know how to write, but how many know how to read? By that he meant maybe we should stop and appreciate our story and not fall for the trappings of instant gratification. Beyond the pomp and circumstance, right here in this tournament, we find ourselves embracing a state of elation. Because on this station, it isn't merely about one's vocation that creates a pulsation. It's the passion and information that creates a sensation for the duration of our time together, which is well spent. The bard Shakespeare said virtue is bold and goodness never fearful. In this 161st episode, consecutively, we have come to realize that every second lasts a lifetime without ever so much as a lull. So let's sit back and realize what we've witnessed here in this tournament oh so grand. Where as of tonight, 25 Hall of Famers and 25 Hollywood Award winners and nominees own this land, as we discover and rediscover our humanity through open dialogue and expand. So be prepared to give a hand to competitors that are about to work their sweat gland, all the while our attention they command. Even The Tonight Show doesn't book such diverse talent and see them thrive in such an innovative format where charisma, intellect, passion, and knowledge are in full display. And there are many heavy hitters on their way, including 3 tonight, who are all one step closer to round 2. So with that, let's play. Our first competitor has been responsible for many smiles, as his heart is huge. The word bah humbug might never have been heard if he crossed paths with Ebenezer Scrooge. As a child, he was a left fielder in Little League Baseball, and as a young adult, went for basic training in the Army, where he stayed for 2 years. But Lorenzo Hoops left the Army, so he was about to switch gears. Soon the roar of the crowd would be ever present when he walked the aisle, as the arena was engulfed in cheers and jeers. He and his brother Ed cheered superstar Billy Graham, and one night Billy picked him out of the crowd. He and Billy exchanged shirts, and I'm sure the place instantly became mighty loud. 4-time Super Bowl champion Matt Millen was both he and his partner's mentor and helped pave the way. After communicating with George Steele, he and his partner were told Minnesota was the place to stay. One night in the mid-'80s, as Janet Jackson's hit Nasty was a hit sensation, Vern Gagne's daughter Donna dubbed he and his partner just that. I hear all of you chanting, guys and gals, and enjoying your chat, no longer wondering who's that. This man that never stands pat, he's a former hardcore champion who isn't afraid of tables, chairs, and a baseball bat. 14 times this man has won tag titles, including the big 3, WCW, AWA, and WWE. He's here to eliminate them all. Will he do so much, guys and gals? Will he do it? Will all of them go back to their regular jobs? One thing is for sure, we're about to stand on our feet as we welcome a legend. First name Brian, last name Knobs. Brian Knobs, welcome to the T-Can Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Hey, man, every day's a Friday and every night's a Saturday night in Nastyville. I am so happy to be on this show, and thank you for having me, and thank all the fans out there for having me. And the only reason right now I have shades on is because my greatest and #1 manager in the world and my partner Jerry Sags will also attest to this, because it's the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, and he was taught by the best. And Dick Clark always told them, hey, you want to look like the audience? You dress like the audience. You dress like a superstar. Always wear them shades. But I will flip them up tonight for you guys.
There we go.
It's time to get nasty.
I took it back to Lorenzo and Hoops. How about that, huh? Red Zone Hoops. I know my stuff here, Brian. But, Brian, I got to ask you a magic question, $1 million question. We won't know. We're going to find out. You and I know who the next two competitors are. Nobody else does, so we're not going to say. But are you here to win the entire tournament?
Oh, are you kidding me? I wouldn't be on here if I wasn't going to win something. Hey, 4-time World Hardcore Champion, 3-time WCW World Champion, WWF, WrestleMania 7, World Tag Team Champions. So, you don't get anybody crazier or wilder than Nasty Boy Brian Knobs, that's for sure.
I love it. Brian Knobs, guys, we're going to see him momentarily as I bring in our next competitor. Brian Knobs, guys, we're going to see him momentarily. What a talent. Great human being. Loved communicating with this man for the last 3 weeks, man. What a gentleman. What a great, passionate guy. He is here to win the whole thing. You heard what he said. He's here to win the entire thing. And guys and gals, you have the power to vote. As you know, your votes determine the outcome of every match, including tonight. The top 2 vote getters move on to round number 2, which takes place in a few months on already a bevy of talent. 50 Hall of Famers, guys and gals, and award winners from Hollywood have been in this tournament and many more. Wait till we see next week's lineup as well. But guys, our second competitor right now is about to enter the virtual arena. Charlie Chaplin said, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." He also said life is a tragedy when seen in close-up, but a comedy in long shot. Yours truly, Avi Klein, agrees wholeheartedly. The following participant has provided an endless amount of creativity and innovation. He was a writer and producer on one of the greatest TV shows of all time that became quite the sensation. As a boy, he wanted to be a heart surgeon, while in high school, he thought the best possible job was being Walt Frazier of the New York Knicks. This was an incredible era for the Knickerbockers, unlike the last 2 decades, where all they were known to do was shoot some awful bricks. He graduated from the University of Maryland and worked as a sports writer for the Washington Post, and soon his career would soar. He penned articles for Esquire, GQ, as well as producing and writing for Howard Cosell's Sports Beat from 82 to 84. This man introduced such classics and expressions as yada yada, shrinkage, and double dip on one of the greatest shows of all time. Our fascination it truly held. Yes, I'm speaking of the show that he executive produced and wrote for, the one and only Seinfeld. When it comes to humor in the written word, he's a pro, as it's all about usage and grammar as opposed to voice delivery and facial expression. I can't wait to introduce him tonight right now, so I'll put the kibosh on this rhythmic session. His mind has had an impact on the cultural landscape, and I, for one, can't think of anything neater. So welcome a kind, genuine human being. Last name Mehlman, first name Peter. Peter Mehlman, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. It's nice to be here, wherever here is.
That's a good question these days. My friend, man, it's been a while since we had you on air, of course. Love communicating with you all the time. I want to say this too, guys and gals. It's not just about dubbing the yada yada and all these great. It's part of Americana, and that's got to be pretty cool. Along with, of course, getting your works published in the Washington Post and New York Times, right, Peter?
Yeah. I know people come up to me and, say, "Oh my God, how does it feel to have, to be the person who made everybody be saying yada yada?" And I keep on thinking, I guess it should feel a whole lot better than this.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? I'm feeling pretty good. The audience is feeling pretty good. Would you concur with Mr. Knobs? Winning the entire tournament would be pretty cool, huh?
Yes, I wasn't sure about that until I did a little research. See, I don't really like to travel. So I was looking into it, and I figured that, I could win this and donate the Greece trip, maybe to maybe I could donate it to save the children, send some kids to Greece.
That's really beautiful. No one's ever said that. That's awesome. Yeah. Guys and gals, Peter Mehlman is with us. We have 3 awesome topics we'll discuss in a moment. Peter, I'll put you backstage momentarily and bring you back in. Peter Mehlman, guys and gals, is with us here, the second competitor of 3. And guys, our third competitor right now, I am about to bring in this gentleman as well. So with that, let's get excited. Let's get pumped. Get all your friends. Get all your enemies. They'll become your friends after they watch all this. They won't become your enemies anymore. So with that, our third participant is a man that is one of a kind and is no stranger to winning the gold. He and his partner knew one another since they were about 10 years old. Heck, even their grandparents knew one another as they worked in the cement hills in Allentown, PA. He lived only 3 blocks from the infamous Motor Lodge, where inspiration was but a few miles away. He was a first baseman in Little League, and as he got older, received a scholarship to Virginia to play football. Soon it would be another journey that would call his name as he bid adieu to Whitehall. Paying his dues with his partner in Minnesota under the tutelage of bronze medalist was as tough as it gets. They were trained on Olympic mats. Forget the champagne and Lear jets. The man not only won tag team gold 14 times in wrestling for the biggest promotions of all time, but he's also as tough is. We could all concur, even as we hear this rhyme. It isn't quite Christmas, but I know a lot of you are about to stand up and take in the merry as I bring in a wonderful, amazing human being. Last name Sags, first name Jerry. Jerry Sags, my friend. Welcome to the TK tournament.
Well, real funny, and welcome to you too. But I'll tell you, what the fuck was with that 30-minute thing that you made me sit here? I was announced third. You're talking this shit, and I got to sit here this whole time and listen to whatever this tournament is and bull fucking shit. That's disrespectful. Take your fucking show and jam it.
Jerry Sags, guys and gals. Very nice. Guys and gals, Brian Knobbs is going to be here right now, and so is Peter Mehlman. How are we, Michael? Brian?
Hey, guys. Peter, how you doing? It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a big fan of Seinfeld, and I'm telling you, I think it's the greatest show ever. And Curb Your Enthusiasm also. And, hey, you're a genius. You are.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great meeting you.
We're going to start with
pleasure meeting you.
Topic number one is going to be iconic movie posters. Brian, guys and gals, again, just to talk about this, iconic movie posters, we have so many of them, and really, a great film poster tells us exactly what we need to know. The posters are forever in our consciousness. The best movie posters excite us. They pique our interest without telling us more than we should know going into a movie. That's an art form. So with that, guys and gals, Brian Knobbs selected The Exorcist as the most iconic movie poster of all time, and we'll explain why. Peter has selected Manhattan as the most iconic movie poster of all time, and we'll explain why. Brian will go first, and if Peter wants to rebut Brian, index finger, I'll pop in, and then we'll be off to the races. Brian, are you ready to go? Take as long as
Yes, I am definitely ready to go.
In a 3, in a 2, and a U.
Yeah. Well, mine is The Exorcist, because I was born and raised Catholic, and I watched the movie, and, you know, the poster got me. But after I watched the movie, my grandmother, God bless her soul, she lived to 92. She was, you know, very into with the church and everything like that. And I knew, you know, she had all the crosses and everything in her bedroom. And that movie scared the shit out of me so bad that I slept with her. In the other bed she had twin-sized beds in her bedroom that we all lived together, you know, with my parents. And I knew I was safe in there because she was very, very, you know, into the, you know, like I said, every function, she did everything with the priest. And so I know I was safe sleeping with my Grammy. And I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. And I slept with her for, you know, not in the same bed, you know, but for almost 7 months. I was scared shit.
Hey.
Guys, Jerry Sags is back, has something to say.
You just got ribbed by the Nasty Boys, you dumb fuck.
I did. I will say that on air.
Did you really think I left the show?
I did, Jerry. I did. That was amazing stuff. Guys and
I came back and the screen was fucking gone. You really thought I left?
Guys, Jerry Sags got me in the river ball race.
I sat here for 45 minutes listening to all this shit and watching this singing big intro. I was a third guy, and I did that thing, and I came back to say, gotcha, and you fucking shut me off.
Jerry, but in all honesty, you said you loved the intro, right? You enjoyed the intro, didn't you, Jerry?
Now you can say you've been ribbed by the Nasty Boys.
I've been ribbed. What did you think of the intro? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was fucking awesome.
Thank
and
you,
all
man.
your guests, yeah.
Thank you,
that
my
was
friend.
The funniest fucking thing.
Guys, Jerry Sags gave me a coronary before I'm supposed to get a coronary, even though it's in my DNA. But that being said, let's turn over to Brian Knobbs.
I can't stop fucking laughing.
I got to tell you guys and gals, Brian Knobbs right now is making a case for The Exorcist. And if Jerry or Peter want to rebut Brian, index finger, they can rebut him anytime they want. Brian Knobbs, please continue, sir.
Well, first of all, Zach should say something to Peter and congratulate him and say, hello, how you doing, Peter? Because he invented Seinfeld with Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David, and you at least have to give him his props because he's one of the greatest geniuses in our era because Seinfeld was one of the greatest shows ever.
Oh, God bless you, brother.
Totally unnecessary. Thank you. I love that you pulled that off. I totally love that you pulled that off. You should be on the Tonight. You should be on the Tonight Show.
Hey, Larry David and you together, everything you fucking guys did, you're fucking geniuses. I laughed and pissed my fucking pants. That's one of the Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld. Well, get the fuck out of here. To have the mind and whatever, where does that come from? That comedy, it's fucking incredible. You guys are, God bless you. That's all I got to say.
Hey, Peter, I know him. Peter, I know that doofus bastard.
Well, I gotta say something. Hold on, Brian. I'm gonna mute Brian. I'm gonna mute Brian for one moment. After that unofficial rebuttal by Jerry Suggs, I'm insulted by the fact that you did that, Jerry. I'm out of here. I'm walking away. Guys and gals.
Can I just bring something up with Brian?
Yes.
Brian, first of all, I want to commend you on your choice of The Exorcist because that is a fantastic poster.
Yes.
And it really it's as scary as the movie every time you see it. Now, I don't usually work blue at all, but I have this one question about The Exorcist. Now, what's the most famous line in The Exorcist?
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
No.
Exactly. Now, you're telling me that...
Who would say such a thing on the show?
You're telling me that a man who's been condemned to spend eternity in hell can still get blowjobs?
I told you it'd be a wild night, guys, and we're seeing it.
Imagine what the seance is like. So how is it down there? It's a little hot.
All right, guys. So Peter's saying it gives a whole new meaning to head spinning. I get that, head spinning from Exorcist. Guys, Brian, please make your case, my friend.
Oh my God, he's so funny. I never thought about that. But,
unbelievable.
It is, but it is. That movie got me so bad, and I was scared shitless that I had to sleep with my grandmother, and I was 13 at the time. Like, I'm supposed to be coming into my own. I was scared shitless, like the devil was going to get inside of me, and I think he has after all these years.
Guys and gals, Brian Knobs made a case for topic number 1. That's The Exorcist movie. We're going to move on to Jerry now, guys. Jerry selected The Big Lebowski as the most iconic movie poster of all time, and will explain why. Are you ready, good sir?
Yes, I'm not leaving the show. I want to see a picture of your face when I walked off, though.
It was something like this.
Hey, you were not only John Goodman and Bridges and the whole crew. The dude was one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's the only fucking movie poster I ever bought in my life. I came in to a shop, or it was framed up there, and my brother-in-law, heart surgeon over there in Boca Raton, is one of his favorite movies ever of all time. I go, I got to buy this poster. I bought the Big Lebowski poster because it's not, like I said, the dude does. I don't need to say more. One of my funniest, greatest movies. And the funniest, one of the funniest scenes is what's the actor? Everyone is Jesus or Jesus when he tells John Goodman, "You'll pull that 45 on me. I'll stick it in your fucking ass and pull the trigger till it goes click." When he said that, you see John Goodman's face. Knowing Goodman pulled the 45 out in the bowling alley the couple days before, you know what I mean? It's one of the most funniest things. I could piss my pants even thinking about fucking that scene of that movie. And throwing Donnie's ashes and they blow back in his face. But I mean, on and on and on. You know what I mean? Incredible movie. But that's the only movie poster I ever bought. And so Big Lebowski, one of my favorite movies, and one of the best posters, I think, tells the story of that. Looking at that poster, you know.
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead.
Peter,
Peter,
hold on.
go ahead.
Let me set Peter up, Brian. Guy, they pay me for being the moderator here. Let me take care of this. But guys, Brian,
I'm sorry.
I'm not. I'm having the time of my life, and we've only started. We've only just begun. Guys, topic number one is...
I'm fucking leaving.
Oh, he's leaving again. Encore, guys. It wasn't great the first time. It's better now because I am actually laughing and in on the joke. Thank God. So with that being said, guys and gals and pals, and by the way, thank you for letting me know it was a rib because I was about to upchuck my lunch. But guys, Peter Mehlman, topic number one. He has selected Manhattan as the most iconic movie poster of all time, and we'll explain why in a 3, in a 2, in a you, good sir.
First of all, the movie poster is just Woody Allen and Diane Keaton sitting under the bridge at like 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting under the 59th Street Bridge and talking. And that's what life was like in New York for me. You know, like that's the thing I like most, just hanging out with friends till all hours of the night and just talking. It was just so great. You know, I mean, I live in LA now, a place where I totally love it. But, you know, that little aspect doesn't exist. And partially I picked Manhattan because I'm standing up for Woody because I don't buy anything that Mia Farrow has ever said about him. And, you know, Woody is he's just an important person in my life. And
a genius.
Just as The Exorcist struck you for being Catholic, you know, Woody Allen movies strike me as somebody who's a completely atheistic Jew. And, you know, it's, I just love Woody Allen, and I love that, you know, all the questioning he does about life and things like that, and all the jokes that he's willing to do, and his utter fearlessness, which Larry David has too. You know, this being fearless about offending people. You know, I thought of this joke the other day. I was thinking, like, I'm going to get canceled for this, but, you know, what the hell? I mean, what am I going to get canceled from? Walking my fucking dog? You know, but, you know, I was saying the other day, like when the Israeli crisis happened and they were talking about the Palestinians being occupied. And I was thinking, well, isn't it better that the Palestinians are occupied as opposed to just sitting around and doing nothing? And
how much of you guys, old school guys like you and Larry David, your comedy stuff, how much shit did you guys pick up off Woody Allen? Like his dry, his humor, the way he directs and all that kind of stuff. What influence did he have?
Not so much the way he directs, but definitely, you know, his humor is definite. You know, I mean, you know, I think the first line that ever, you know, before I was even on staff at Seinfeld, I got to watch, you know, like 3 episodes they had done. They wanted, you know, to let me get familiar with the show. And there was a line in there where George says, you know, I've never really had an appointment where I wanted the other person to show up. And that was such a Woody Allen kind of line. And, you know, right then and there, I said, boy, this is the place for me.
Hey guys, a really cheap plug over here. If you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to trim down, go on
Avi,
the Jerry.
you still there?
Can you hear me?
Now Avi left us.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
He's there. I see his face.
I can hear you.
Before I leave.
Guys and gals, Jerry Sags. The Jerry Sags diet. If you want to get scared crapless, listen to Jerry Sags as he scares you off screen into thinking that you won't be on even though you've been booked. Jerry Sags, guys and gals. What a great plan that is. You got to do it, Jerry Sags, 1-800-SAGS. But guys, that was an incredible topic that all 3 gentlemen delved into. I respect them wholeheartedly, and that's from the heart as well. Peter, can you hear me, good sir?
Yes.
Peter, okay, great. Guys, we're going to turn over to our judge and our
I wanted to say something about what Peter said, but Woody he does everything in New York, which I love. That's where it came up from, and, you know, and I'll never forget me back in the day running into Mickey Mantle and I was so honored. And he sat down there and had drinks with me at the time.
Wow.
And it was just that kind of situation when you were there in New York, and we've been to New York so many times, and there is nowhere like New York City, and you know it. You grew up in Queens, you know Madison Square Garden. You're a Knicks fan, so I'm serious, and I'm not kissing your ass either. So, but I think you're a genius.
Kiss my ass. That's fine.
No, that's okay. We do that around here. We do that a lot here.
I'm okay with kissing ass.
It's underrated. It's underrated.
It's totally underrated.
Very underrated. Guys, so we're going to have Joe Stefano now come in and tell us who he votes for. His points are worth 3. And guys, we also have 2 of you as wildcard voters in the comment section. A bevy of different comments coming down the pike as well. As you guys know, Victor Santiago, 3 points. You're the one of the wildcard voters. And we also have Jeff Reeder, one of the wildcard voters. So, Joe, who would you like to vote for in this round and why?
Good evening, gentlemen. So I'm voting for this evening Mr. Jerry Saggs because The Big Lebowski, as much as there are iconic things about The Exorcist with like the lighting and the movement, so you see the back of in the suitcase, that's scary as all get out, and you see that and you're like, this is iconic. And Manhattan, iconic, but the biggest one of all, and the one that you look at and you know immediately, outside of a doubt, shadows or not, The Big Lebowski, the dude. So my vote goes to Jerry Saggs, the dude about
Nobody tops the dude.
And you can't forget about the Jesus. The Jesus is right there.
Yes. John Turturro.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus. Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
No. And I want to say this too. John Goodman, who I know well, he's proud of that film. He said he was proud of that film because it was one of those movies that you can't tell how it's going to come out till it's in post-production. Because when you're shooting it, you have no idea how this thing is going to turn out. The script was wild. They were rewriting it on set, which sometimes can be common. And he's so proud of that final cut. This is John Goodman saying that, of course. So there you go, guys and gals. We're going to turn it over to you right now. Let's see who won this first round, because now our viewers, the engine that makes this thing go, are voting. So, all right, let's see. Our first vote from the audience goes to Saggs. Jester Gambit Saggs gets my vote. So 1 more point for Saggs. What's on the line? $13,000 and a trip or 2 to Greece, guys and gals and pals. I could buy a lot of Pampers that I might need after tonight with that money.
Not too shabby.
Another ship. What do we have here? Who else here? We have Brian. Trying to get your vote here. Let's pull this up. This is live. All right. Sean says Big Lebowski. Saggs gets my vote. Christy concurs and says Jerry has my vote. Gave me chill bumps. There you go, Christy. Thank you so much. Julie Hall votes for Brian Knobs. Thank you, Julie Hall. Appreciate your vote as well. All right, so the votes are coming down the pike right now. See who we got. Pete Sharpie says John Goodman is a hell of an actor, but who you're voting for, Pete? Ramon, I'm going with Brian on this one. Thank you, Ramon. Appreciate that. Okay, Mr. Knobs has another vote. And Brian says Brian, he had the right. He's right. The Exorcist is one of the most iconic ones ever, plus a horror movie with an iconic Yo Mama joke. Can't go wrong with that. Thank you, Brian. Of course, guys and gals, this is all live, and we appreciate you watching and voting because you have made this an incredible network. Bradley says, Saggs got it. And Jamie concurs. Jerry for me. And Ashley concurs. Saggs, 3 straight points for Jerry Saggs, who might be breaking a record here. We've never had this. Jim Bag says, I vote for Peter Mehlman. Thank you so much for your vote. Okay. Pete says, my vote goes to Brian Knobs. The Exorcist is a very iconic poster. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Giselle, for tallying in the back. Christopher says, love what all these great men have to say, but I have to go with Peter on this one. All right. We've seen some major comebacks, guys and gals, in this tournament. Jesse Ventura was down, then he came back to win a few weeks ago. Victor says, my vote goes to Brian Knobs. That's 3 points for Brian because Victor's one of our wildcard voters. All right. Bradley says, Saggs gets my vote. Okay. Tanya says she votes for John Goodman. Stick around. All right. More on that. You got the wrong week there. Let's see who else. Dakota. Jerry gets my first vote for being the first person to give the whole show a heart attack. Yes, there you go. We need more coronaries on Saturdays. I agree. Karen Calabretta said, Brian's got my vote because he got a really good kick in the butt with being a Catholic. So that's Karen voting for Brian. This is really close. Guys, I'm going to start counting this thing down. We'll move over to round number 2 and topic 2 momentarily. Chat says, I'm voting for Jerry this round. Bradley says, a little shout out. I love you, Saggs. That's from Bradley. Thank you, Bradley. All right. Julie says, voting for Peter Mehlman. Okay. Got that. And it's cumulative. So remember, the top 2 vote getters after all 3 rounds will move on to round number 2. and be one step closer to the entire finish of this thing. Dakota, Jerry, where can I get a nasty hat like that? That's Dakota asking Jerry Sags a question about the Nasty Boy hat.
You can't get the one like this because it's embroidered with sags on the side of my tattoo, but you can get them at Pro Wrestling Tees in Chicago. That who's had all these shirts and all of our attire. WWE still sells stuff too, but the hats are at Pro Wrestling Tees, Chicago. Go and load up on them.
Check it out, Dakota. Pro Wrestling Tees. Yeah,
You didn't need one of those to walk around with.
Absolutely, everyone should. Almost the 2K comments here. Brian says, "Sure, I don't know if I could do much walking these days, but I will probably by tomorrow, hopefully." After that, Dakota Benson, very nice. Thank you, sir. Exorcist movie poster. If we could take a screenshot of my reaction to Jerry scaring me earlier, that would be a good movie poster. Put that somewhere on a t-shirt. So with that, guys and gals, we move on to round number 2, topic number 2, which is greatest guitar solos of all time. And to put this thing and make it real short and not be long-winded, I got to say one of the main factors of the cultural revolution that took place in the 20th century was rock and roll. It spearheaded the age of spiritual and social change. And since the guitar as an instrument is the focal point of almost every rock song ever written, this particular 6-stringed instrument became the main sign of the times. Every rock band had a flashy guitarist that was a master of his craft, and solos were a great way to showcase the playing wizardry. Fundamental to a band's sound, the guitarist can make or break a record. And if they're really something special, they can deliver a solo that elevates it to heights previously unimagined. So, guys, we're going to rotate things out this time, and Mr. Peter Mehlman will kick things off. He selected the opening of Sounds of Silence as the greatest guitar solo of all time. We will then turn it over to Mr. Jerry Sags, who selected Prince's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, My Guitar Gently Weeps, as the greatest guitar solo of all time. And Brian Knobs has selected Keith Richards' I Can't Get No Satisfaction as the greatest guitar solo of all time. Mr. Mehlman, are you ready to go, good sir?
Yeah.
In a 3, in a 2, in a U.
Well, first of all, I have to agree with Jerry. That Prince solo was the single greatest guitar solo ever.
I've never seen. I'll talk about it on my time, but you roll, bro.
Man, that is the single greatest. I picked Sounds of Silence because it gets me on a gut level. It brings me back to that time. It brings me to that movie, which meant so much to me. I was, it's about feeling like graduating college and wondering what the hell you've been doing all this time and what the future is like and what's the meaning of life. And just in those single notes, I just feel all of that again. I get these goosebumps all the time from it, and it just kills me. That movie just was like kind of the most important movie of my life. So, it's combining the music and the movie at the same time, which is so brilliant, that, you could capture both in one shot like that. And, when we were really young, all the best movies were about anti-heroes. You see Dustin Hoffman on that moving stairway at LAX, and every time I come into LAX and I'm on that movie stairway, I'm thinking, and it's just so, it just brings me back. And I admire Prince and everything, like, and Eric Clapton and Keith Richards, pure, on such a technical and fantastic audio level, but the beginning of Sounds of Silence just hits me on such a gut level.
Yeah, Paul Simon was fantastic. You can't take nothing away from Paul Simon. He's a genius, and even now I love hearing him sing. And a good friend of mine in Sags is Willie Nelson, and Willie's always plays with them, and it's just making music, man, is an art form, and Paul Simon is fantastic. I mean, that's an awesome pick. So I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, well, there's no disagreeing on this. There's no disagreeing on this one. It's what hits you on personally, the most.
Right, exactly.
And that's a good segue, because guys and gals and pals in the comment section, remember, don't pick your favorite one of these choices that these gentlemen have selected. Who gave you the best presentation? Who made the best argument? That's how you're voting. And with that, guys and gals, we'll turn it over right now. We have Jerry Sags, who selected Prince's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, My Guitar Gently Weeps, as the greatest solo. Mr. Sags, are you ready to go?
fuck you, I'm leaving. No,
Guys and gals, I'm out of here before you
When
get
I
there.
saw your face. All right. This to me, Mrs. Robinson there, Peter, I got you, brother. But listen, this to me is one of the hardest things to pick on earth, because the first thing people are going to run to is Jimi Hendrix. You know what I mean? Come on, Jimi Hendrix. Okay. Exactly. So I go, well, I'm going to pick Jimi Hendrix. Well, what the fuck? I mean, which one do you pick? Because all these great guitarists, they're singing through their guitar. So there is no real solo. Their whole song is a guitar solo. You know what I mean? So I found something of Jimmy's I thought I was going to pick. And it was this off-the-wall thing where he was in England and he announced the Jimi Hendrix Experience. But backstage, they show him, hey, man, we're going to sing Sgt. Pepper's. And the drummer goes, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And he goes, just you start with this, and not let me take it from there. Jimi Hendrix, here he is, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. They're in London, right? And it was Jimmy, a couple riffs. The drummer starts, a couple riffs. It was 20 years ago today, and this fucking people in England shit their pants. That motherfucker's singing our Beatles shit, and they're like in shock, and their face. 20 years, and then all of a sudden he stops the singing of Sgt. Pepper's, and now sings it with his guitar. I go, now the people start coming around and they start popping and coming out of their seats. And now he starts jamming. Now Jimmy's singing through his guitar. So I started there. Then I jumped to my next favorite guy, Jimmy Page. You know, going to California, what are you going to, all this stuff. Then I think of, well, wait a minute. A Jimmy Page interview I saw was Jack White and The Edge from U2. They're with Jimmy Page like 2008 at his house, and Jimmy's talking to him and explaining, and he plays a little riff. I think it was from when Levee Breaks, and it looked like Jack White and The Edge were going to have a stroke. Listen, this is their idol. Jimmy Page was the greatest fucking, every song he ever played, he's singing through that fucking guitar. He's the greatest. Come on, him and the two Jimmys, all right? But Jimmy goes off, and while he's talking to these guys, he plays that riff and goes, but he starts talking about Dick Dale. And I'm like, and he's playing Brown, Brown, Brown. And he's telling them the genius of these riffs by Dick Dale. This is Jimmy Page putting over Dick Dale. And I go, now that would be, someone from that not many people know about, the king of surf rock. Mizzaloo was made popular back with Quentin Tarantino, and I'm thinking, so I was then I'm like Dick Dale, and then I go, wait a minute, what about Pete Townsend? What about Eric Clapton? Stevie Ray Vaughan doing Slight Return of Jimi Hendrix's Voodoo Child, one of my favorite guitarists in the world, Stevie Ray. What about Robbie Krieger, The Doors? Waiting for the Sun. What the fuck? You know what I mean? What's happening here? Eddie Van Halen. Now he really had solos in a lot of his songs. There's stuff that guitarists still have never fucking copied that Eddie Van Halen did that they can't copy or repeat. So I was beating this all around, and I'm thinking, one of my sons goes, "What do you, Dad? What?" And he goes, my son Jackson 7. He goes, "What about we just watched for like the 90th time? We love George Harrison. He had passed away. It was a repeat of the Hall of Fame induction of George Harrison. On that fucking stage was Steve Winwood on keyboards, Jeff Lynne, greatest rock and roll voices one of ever, Yellow, Jeff Lynne. They were all part of Traveling Wilburys. Steve Winwood was with Jeff Lynne, and then Tom Petty, and George Harrison's sons on acoustics. Okay, there's another heavy guitar player on there now. I forgot who it was. And they start and they rip into While My Guitar Gently Weeps by George Harrison. And they're playing, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome, man. A tribute to the Traveling Wilburys and thing. I'm like, and I'm catching a glimpse, stage right. Just fucking dude over there, And there's this bright red hat I see, but I don't totally see him just hanging out over there. And I'm like, who the fuck is that over there? And I'm watching, and all of a sudden, I see they zoom on to George Harrison's son's face, and a big smile comes across. And I look, now the guy's back's to us, and he's looking at George Harrison's son, giving him the nod, like, here we fucking go, kid. Prince, it turns around, it's fucking Prince. And I'm like, what the fuck's Prince doing in this scenario or have to do with this? He fucking takes that guitar and rams it up the Guitar World's ass. Period. He fucking ripped the house, tore the house down the ceiling. It's what we call a wrestling, but it's stealing the show. I mean, I have no words to explain it. He fucking just tore it down. One of the best rock and roll solos I ever fucking seen in my life on guitar, with all these great guitarists in mind. No disrespect. But basically, Prince was saying, after that, he played that. George Harrison's son had the biggest smile. Tom Petty and Jeff Lynne were like, what the fuck just happened? Steve Winwood, these are geniuses of rock and roll. Prince takes his guitar and fucking chucks it in the air. Is like, take that, motherfucker, fuck you, and does his thing and walks the fuck off. I was like, what the fuck just happened? That was the greatest thing I ever seen. And thank God that my kids bring it to my memory. That's why I picked it. I don't, because it's truly a solo. It's truly out of place. Now, you got to remember, me and Oz broke into AWA in Minneapolis in 1985. We used to go to First Avenue. Sheila E., what's his name? Morris, now Jerome. We'd see these motherfuckers around town. And, hey, nasty boy, you crazy fuckers and all. You know what I mean? Prince was on fire. But never did I ever take Prince, because he was a great, skilled artist. It was music, a genius in his own right. But never would I ever have taken him as one of the greatest guitar players on earth until he played that riff for George Harrison, God bless him, which George Harrison was one of the greatest, and I love him. He played that riff. I pretty much shit my pants. There it is.
I know how that feels. I know how that feels.
Prince, George Harrison, tribute, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
My guitar gently weeps. God bless him.
I know how that feels, pooping in someone's pants.
Yeah, I saw. Listen,
yeah.
I came back. Yeah. I go, I'm missing from the fucking screen.
He calls me.
You three guys, and I see a look in your face like you lost your best friend. I go, and I'm pushing all these fucking buttons on the computer. Get the fuck back on here. Then the phone rings.
I didn't sell it though, Jerry.
It's you going, hey, what happened? I go, what the fuck? You took me off the screen. I was kidding you.
No, I should keep you on after that. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I should have kept you on.
You're on the other end going, oh my God, okay, let me put you back on. Just tell them what happened. I said, yeah, what the fuck you take off?
Jerry, nobody gave me the memo to keep somebody on after something like that. Oh my. But guys, I want to say this to Jerry Sags over here, because again, your excellence intimidates me. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
It's fine, yo.
In case you missed it, there we go. We got it again. But guys, we're having fun.
Listen. Hey, now that doesn't compare to one of my favorite comedians, Adam Sandler, in singing "Lunch Lady Land." Sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe. He had a single in there, but I want to bring some about you. Knobs' last name's Jandrzejewicz. I'm Saganovich. We're both Polacks from the Eastern Board, okay? Know what he said? Know what Adam Sandler would say about us fucking four? He go, put those four together, and you might have one shabby fucking Jew.
Guys and gals, on
Peter, tell him. Larry would appreciate that, wouldn't he?
I'll tell him.
Guys
one
and gals,
shabby fucking Jew.
On Saturday night over here, I want to say this. Hold on a second. I just want to say this to our audience. People ask why I do the celebrity tournament, pop, circumstance, 13 grand, trip for 2 degrees. That's all nice. I do want to thank you for watching again from that studio system that I talk about all the time, who support what I do. Thank you so much. The reason why I do this is because I want to prove to the masses, that just because we love our vocation, just because we have a walk of fame and our name and the acclaim and the game, all of that stuff's great. But why not see professional wrestlers talk about music? Why not see great writers like Peter Mehlman talk about sports? We can talk about anything we'd like. We're not going to let society put us in a box. That's what we're doing here, guys and gals. That's my soapbox. I'm done. Brian Knobs, guys and gals, is now going to make a case for
Better Rip Knobs.
In this topic. I can't get no satisfaction as the greatest guitar solo of all time, and he will explain why momentarily right now.
First of all, I got to say to Peter, hey, man, you're giving your 13 grand to charity. I'm keeping mine. I'm famous and broke. I'm a pro wrestler. But I picked Keith Richards because, you know, I've been listening, and this was a hard one for me, like Sag said. But you know, Joe Walsh was just on, and he was on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel or I forget, but they were talking to him, and he told me Pete Townsend took him aside and gave him words of advice and said, you know, and Pete Townsend's a hell of a guitar player also. But then you go back to Keith Richards, and then if you think about it, okay, you know, playing Satisfaction, where he wrote right down here at the Fort Harrison Hotel in Clearwater, okay, he learned back in the day from Muddy Waters, okay? Muddy Waters was awesome. Nobody forgets about Chess Records, but Muddy Waters, they came over to see him and learn from him, and then the Rolling Stones returned the favor and brought Muddy back, you know, and paid for everything, and Muddy was back over again. And you're talking about, you know, 1950s, 40s, but these guys learned from them old musicians, and Muddy Waters was fantastic. So to me, Keith Richards, from learning, you know, from the best of the best, you're talking about, you know, going way back in time of famous guitar players. And let's face it, Muddy Waters could play some guitar, but Keith Richards learned off that, and he's still doing it, and he's still going on with his, you know, trait, and he's almost, 80 years old, and he still goes out there and he just plays his ass off, and he's one of the greatest guitar players ever. But it was really hard to pick out just a certain one because of all the greats. But you know, I heard Joe Walsh, and it was last night that I heard it. All this is coming up when Joe Walsh said Pete Townsend, you know, took me aside and said, play it like you're playing your guitar for you and for your life, and just go out town and play it. And everybody knows how great a guitar player Joe Walsh is. So that was Pete Townsend. And me and Sag met John Entwistle at the Rainbow Club in L.A., you know, back in the day. I'm 60 now, so I'm not as crazy as I used to be. But it just goes to show you, you know, and then I was watching these other things, and Keith Richards, you know, they came over to see Muddy Waters and Chess Records, and they learned from, he was learning from Muddy Waters. They're learning the guitar playing from, and no one played better than Muddy Waters back in the day. You know what I mean? So that's why I said Keith Richards, you know, he took from old school and he kept it going. And he kept it going, and he started teaching people. So, and then guys all got along, but, you know, I mean, it was a hard decision, this one, because there's so many great guitar players. But for Sag's thing with Prince, I thought Prince's greatest display was at Super Bowl when it was Purple Rain, and it was raining on him, and he kept playing. And he played his guitar solo for Purple Rain in the rain, and he didn't care. You know, if he was going to get electrocuted or whatever, it was storming on him. It was the Super Bowl, and he was out there playing. So I love Prince, you know, also. And like I said, Paul Simon's just a genius. Because like I said, Willie Nelson, another good friend of mine, and his son, you know, is now taking over, and his son's a hell of a guitar player, Lucas. And I know him also, but, you know, I was a hard one, but I came up with Keith Richards. You know, it's hard to come up with somebody, you know.
You got to remember, all the guitarists we just mentioned pulled from the greatest blues artists in the United States. Howlin' Wolf, Stevie, every one of them, every guitarist we mentioned here listened and pulled off of that and sucked that in and absorbed it. Jimmy Page, all of them pulled from the and you got to remember what made the blues, you know, it came from being sharecroppers and their great grandparents being slaves. And if anybody could fucking sing something to be blue about, they knew it was coming. When something comes from the heart, from the soul, you've been tortured and tormented inside. When that comes out of you in the form of the blues, that can never be topped by any kind of musician. So all these guitarists pulled from the greatest blues artists in the United States that's relatives were slaves and so on and sharecroppers and lived that. All of them.
Yeah, I know, but Muddy Waters was like, he didn't have a job, and the Stones came and got him and paid for everything and brought him over to, like, he was never over to England and all that. So it was like they were paying him back for him teaching them back in the day, 1960, I think, 65, or it was around there. And they came over to Test Records, and I thought that was pretty cool that, Muddy took them right in, grabbed their guitars and, come on in, boys, and this and that. And
take Stevie Ray Vaughan, the 5th Street and 6th Street in Austin.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, yeah.
Up and down fucking 6th Street and listen to all the blues players. Stevie Ray Vaughan, God bless him, already died in a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
But he developed that Austin sound, that blues, and he could play the guitar behind his back. He could play teeth. He could play it over his head, just like Jimmy. The guy, like I said, they sang and their soul bled through that fucking guitar, that 6-string piece of equipment. Yeah. That's the great ones. How do you pick
I could play the guitar over my head too. I mean, I can't come up with any notes. I can't hit any of the notes, but I could actually play it.
I could play.
By the way, can I mention Dwayne Allman?
We even forgot. Yes, I was thinking about that too.
There are so many. You know what? You're right, Brian, Jerry, and Peter. How about this? We're talking about influential blues guitarist Buddy Guy, who influenced almost everybody. Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, right? Buddy Guy, what incredible blues.
I met Buddy Guy. Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to mention and Jasmine Guy also.
Jasmine Guy is a great storyteller. Jasmine.
Oh yeah.
Different World was a great show back in the day. Sure.
Yeah. I think she stormed the Capitol, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Peter, I got to say this: if you threw that Jasmine Guy pass to Ewing would have slam dunked it the way I just did right now, right? Ewing would have blown it. Am I right about that, Patrick Ewing?
Let me tell you something. If I was sitting in the 4th row at Madison Square Garden and gave a head fake, Patrick Ewing would leave his feet.
Yes, he understands my misery. He's a Knick fan. Thank you. Guys and gals, that was topic number 2. We're done. Now we're going to turn over to Joe. Joe, don't you know this is your time to vote, so let's see who you got and why.
Geez, this was a hard one. You could mention so many different people from Yngwie Malmsteen to like John Petrucci. Like, it's a wild amount of different people that you can actually put in there. But for the actual soloing and at least iconic and the information given on the background and the way that all these people clamored around him and Muddy Waters and one specific person who got that, Keith Richards specifically, and more, I'm going to go with Brian on this one. That is where my vote stands.
You, Joe Rossitano, there you go. Votes for Brian Knobs, guys and gals. That's 3 points for Mr. Brian Knobs, and thank you, guys and gals. You can start voting, guys, in the comment section, because right now we turn it over to you, and we'll find out, again, just to give you a bit of a tally so far. As it stands right now, it is Jerry Sags with 13, Brian Knobs with 11, Peter with 3. Top 2 vote getters. We'll move on to round number 2 of this star-studded field. I'm going to be braggadocious about this. Why not? Where else are you going to get to see 50 Hall of Famers and award winners in one place, in one tournament, going for the same thing, the pride and the prize? Lester votes for Brian Knobs. Thank you for that. And Kayla concurs. Votes for Brian. Okay, very good. Johnny McKinney votes for Jerry Sags. All right, one more for Jerry. And Michael Gross concurs. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Jerry has his vote. Sarah Bennett is voting for Brian Knobs. Thank you, Sarah. We appreciate that vote. Victor says, I agree with Joe. my vote goes to Brian Knobs, and that's, again, wild card voter, 3 points for Victor, so 3 points for Brian. Julie votes for Jerry Saggs for his presentation regarding Prince and his guitar solo. Okay. Hot and heavy with all of these votes. We appreciate that, guys and gals. Make me work. Make me sweat. Not as much as Jerry made me sweat earlier, but make me sweat, please. Sean Archer.
I fucking got you.
You got me. You got me. Sean Archer get votes for Peter. Thank you, Sean, for your vote as well. Phil is going to go with Mr. Brian Knobs. That solo from Prince was such a beautiful tribute to George. Christy says Jerry has me again. So one more vote for Jerry. Make that 2 because Chad is also voting for Jerry. Christopher says, again, what a topic. Thank you. Peter has my vote on this one. Yeah, guys, give it up to these incredible human beings who are here live. Not only giving you their time, but their mind, their heart. It's awesome. They're not shortchanging anybody.
This is cool that we picked somebody that everybody seems to be voting for all of our picks, which is cool.
Yeah, I've noticed that too for this second topic.
Hey, Peter, I known that fat, toothless bastard for 50 years since I'm 10. I don't know how long you know Larry, but I know that fat, toothless bastard for 50 years.
Jerry, since you were 10. Since you were 10 years old, yeah.
10 years old. Can you believe it?
That's amazing when you think about that. Julie votes.
And he still gets on my nerves. He still gets on my nerves.
I don't know if you heard it, but Keith Richard was on Howard Stern last week.
Was he?
No.
It was fantastic. The best interview. You can see so much of it on YouTube. It was fantastic.
The Stones are doing shit again right now, right?
They
got a new album out.
They got a new album. Jester votes for Jerry Saggs. Ramon votes for Jerry Saggs. Guys, we have a rock and roll legend coming here in about 4 weeks, probably to end round number 1. Wait to see who that is. Doug Parker votes for Brian Knobs. Okay, Jane votes for Saggs. Miss Dubois, thank you. Guys, I'm going to count this thing down right now, and we're going to enter topic number 3, a thought-provoking topic. This time there'll be a lot of moments of levity. We've gotten that tonight as well from these awesome gentlemen. So, guys, I'm going to count this thing down right now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. We know there's a 4 and a 3 and a 2, and then there's a 0. So, guys, after topic number 2, as it stands right now, it is Jerry Saggs with 19, Jerry Saggs with 21, Brian with 19, Peter with 6. Guys, round number 3, topic number 3 is upon us. Here we go. Let's be real, because there's never, guys and gals, a time where funny doesn't work. Well, maybe it does, but God knows we need to try. There's never, guys and gals, a time where funny shouldn't be something we think of, because it's nice to have a smile and contribute to someone's smile. Right now, we're in a world where everyone's humor is a tad bit different than the person sitting next to them. You never quite know what's going to make them laugh or make them roll their eyes, but I say go for it. Go for it. Why not? So, guys, with that being said right now, this is going to be different topics for all 3 gentlemen. They've been given different topics for this one. We're going to start off with Jerry Saggs, guys and gals. He will let us know what inanimate object he wishes he could eliminate from existence. And, of course, after that, Brian Knobs will let us know what fictional character in either a book or a TV show or a movie would be insufferable if you had to hang out with them, but was entertaining to watch on screen. And then Peter's going to let us know what mythical creature would improve the world most if it existed. So, guys, let's kick things off with Mr. Saggs. Are you ready to go, my friend?
Yes, I am. I'm leaving now.
I beat you to it.
You already cut me off. What was it again? Inanimate object.
Yeah, what can we do without? What inanimate object can we do without?
Most fucking thing we could do without on the face of this earth is social fucking media. I hate it. I don't have none of it. Not a fucking thing. I can't stand it. All these kids, they hurt other people and talk on there. They talk shit. They do this. They do that. Because you know why? The old days, face to face, they don't want to have the fucking balls to say shit to nobody. But they can go, and girls can bully girls, and guys can bully guys, and say this stuff and make fun of people and run their mouth, say this shit face to face. You got something to say, and I don't give a fuck what anybody else is doing, and I don't want them to fucking know what I'm doing, so they can all kiss my ass. I don't give a shit about social media. I don't stand it, and all it is people on there that are bullies that face to face wouldn't have the balls to say shit because I punched their face inside fucking out when they're bullying other kids on the fucking internet and saying other stuff and doing this. You got big balls and you're sitting at home in your bed texting. Come out in the street and say it face to fucking face, and we'll see who's talking. Nobody will talk shit about shit. Anybody gets anything from the compound in their safe haven in their house or their bedroom, come on to fucking the back alley and meet me and say that fucking shit, you ballless bastard. So fuck off.
The negative aspects of social media, there is a lot of bullying going on. There is a lot of keyboard warriors out there for sure. Jerry's right about that. Brian, guys and gals, is going to have his topic right now, the third topic. We'll find out who's one step closer for moving to round number 2. Brian, what fictional character is amazing to watch, but might be insufferable if you had to deal with them in person? Please let us know why as well.
I would have to say Vin Diesel. I mean, I like his movies, Dominic Toretto, but I don't think I'd like him, going out and having a good time. I think he's high on himself, and plus he's, kind of had a feud with one of our buddies that we used to babysit when he was 13 and 14.
Do you like Vin Diesel?
Are
you saying you like Diesel?
No, I'm saying as a character.
He's a fucking shit. He's fucking worthless, that fucking
turd. Well, that's what I'm telling him.
He's fucking horrible.
But I'm telling him I wouldn't want to hang out with him, you dumb asshole.
The character in Fast and the Furious. The character
right off his fucking head.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious. Yeah, the movies were good, but I wouldn't want to hang out with him. And plus, I'm trying to get something else in here. He had a beef with one of our friends, and you know him, Peter. Rocky Johnson was a good friend of ours. Well, his friend, we know him as Stewie, but everybody else knows him as Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Well, we babysit him when he was 13 and 14. And him and Rocky and his wife went out for dinner, and us, we were staying in Tennessee in 1987. And what do you think we're going to do? We got him drunk, So he came up to my wife at the Hall of Fame and grabbed me and goes, your old man got me drunk when I was 13 or 14 years old. And I said, well, you're the number one actor. You got the fucking number one tequila. Maybe you should pay me some fucking residuals and give me some money back, because it looks like you're doing just fine right now. So it mustn't have hurt you. It had to do you some good. But, Rocky came down and was standing there, goes, you got my boy drunk last night. But Rocky knew what he was doing. He was just training the kid, and we called him Dewey because, that's what his name was. He was Little Dewey, and then he turned out to be, one of the biggest actors and one of the great the wrestlers too, of course. And he has tequila out and all this shit. And he's going to give me shit about me getting him drunk when he was 13 and 14. Jesus Christmas. Give me some of them residuals, man.
Guys and gals, put your Red Bulls down. We are on live Saturday night with Brian Knobs, Jerry Sags, and Peter Mehlman. Peter's going to finish this up, not just this third topic, but the entire round, guys and gals. This entire first round matchup will come to a close once Peter Mehlman concludes. Peter, what mythical creature would improve the world most if it existed? Floor is yours, good sir.
I would have to go with God. I just, I can't quite get behind our conception of the God that people say. I mean, first of all, before he created the heavens and earth, what was he doing all that time? I mean, what was he taking, the longest gap year in the history of education? And, and you got this God, who's all powerful and things like that, and he has one kid. I just don't buy any of this. You think created the heavens and earth would be a pretty good pickup line, and he winds up with one kid. I just can't get behind it. And, I keep thinking that, if there really was a God, like I wouldn't get in trouble for saying funny things, which I do. I get in trouble, like once I was up for a Tony. I was up for an Emmy award for writing the Yada Yada, and I was also up for an Emmy award that same season just for being writing on the best show. So I lost to Ellen for coming out of the closet, and then I lost to Frasier for best show. And I told a guy from the LA Times, I said, yeah, I lost for Ellen coming out of the closet, and I lost to Frasier for never coming out of the closet. And, if there was really a God, he would have probably struck me down for that one, and maybe I would have deserved it. But, I'd like to think God has a decent sense of humor,
Well, that's right.
With World War III, the horsemen are about to mount. Armageddon is happening. The end of days is coming. Yeah. Now the fucking Antichrist lurks his evil head out from underneath his pillow. Here he is. Peter. He doesn't even got it.
Hey, Peter. So this is what I did. I finally made it big, and we're the WWF champions. So I come home with my wife to the family Catholic church picnic, and I got all the old parishioners around, and I got on the priest molesting the young kids, right? So they got all behind me, and then I said to them, there was nothing wrong, because I was an altar boy. I said there was nothing wrong when Father Rufinock used to take me in the vestibule and jack me off. That made me a man. And they looked at me. Oh, my God, they looked at me. They went like this. They said, I'm going to hell. I said, it's a joke.
Just a joke. I said this. When those guys were marching in Charlottesville, and they were chanting tiki torches, and they were chanting "Jews will not replace us," and I was saying, like, well, of course Jews aren't going to replace you. It would mean taking a huge pay cut.
Guys and gals, topic number 3. If you think we can't top everything, look where we are. Robert Arrowood, we've talked about, I think, feces. We've talked a lot of things tonight, guys. But you know what? At the end of the day, these gentlemen, give them credit, because they're going to
somebody buy that fucking guy at Kanish.
Don't point at me. Don't point at me, Mr. Sags.
I love talking to you two guys.
Guys and gals.
Oh, Peter, we gotta get together. I think we'd have a good time.
You guys are awesome. When you come to LA, anytime.
You owe me.
Thank you very much.
Peter, hold on. Peter just texted me. Let me read this text, Jerry. Peter just texted me. This is from Peter Mehlman. I'd be glad to hang out with them unless they win tonight. If that's the case, I don't want to see them ever again. Okay, that's from Peter Mehlman. So we'll find out. We'll find out, guys, who advances.
Look,
right now.
there's a part of me that doesn't want to, I don't want to give away $13,000.
No, why would you? Guys,
hey, when you take us to the fucking deli in LA and you get the fucking corned beef sandwiches in Kanishville, you better have more than $13,000 on you.
Cats, you need that for cats. If you go to Cats, it's pretty expensive.
Hey, look, I got a couple of Seinfeld residuals last week. You wouldn't believe how much. So I'm like super loaded.
Super, guys. Robert Arrowood says hello, Robert. Yeah, he's been sick. Robert, we wish you the best. I know you've been sick, and your wife, we wish you the very best as well. Guys and gals, now we're going to start voting and find out again who advances to round number 2 officially. So let's bring in Mr. Joe Risitano and find out what he knows based on his opinion. Who do you think won
I
this
don't
round
have to go
and
to Greece.
Why do you gotta do
this? He's due to go to confession in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Yeah. I'm due for that too.
No,
myself.
hold on a second, Joe. I do want to
By
say
the way, writing that confessional scene in Seinfeld was the absolute happiest moment of it. When Jerry's in confession, that was like the happiest scene I ever wrote. I was so happy.
I want to bring this up. Hold on a second, because I have to bring this up before this is a shout out. I want to mention this because a couple years back, there was a show called Web Therapy. I don't even know if it's still on. It was on Showtime. And I got a chance to meet a gentleman on set. I was not writing the show, but I got a chance to meet on set named Matthew Perry, who just passed away earlier. And I do want to bring that up live here because I've gotten some texts, and someone dear to me is asking me if I can bring that up on air and just send his family condolences, and I will. So Matthew Perry, a lot of us knew him from Friends, a great human being from Canada originally, grew up in Massachusetts, a really nice guy, not a friend but an acquaintance, and always had a smile on his face and a nice thing to say. And we wish his family the deepest condolences.
Oh, that's terrible.
54 years young, guys. 54 years young, Matthew
God.
Perry.
Matthew Perry just passed away, did you say?
He did, yes.
When? Just now?
We don't know what time, but today. He passed away today. So
oh my God.
The news just broke.
Peter, thanks a lot. See what happens when you do what you do. Thanks a fucking lot, pal.
Yeah, I know.
It was a hell of a night, guys, and we're about to find out who's moving on. Joe, if you want to cast your vote, please let us know who you think won and why.
So I'm going to say that Jerry won this one because social media has its good points, and the positives are mostly the fact that I've gotten connected with amazing people like Avi over here. But outside of that, there are some quandaries that go with that. There are some things that happen where people are unable to actually speak about things that are more important to them. That's why having this platform right here is excellent, because we get to have people like all of you discuss things that are outside of the profession that most people know you for, and you're able to express yourselves in a way that people are like, they're an intelligent person. Of course they're an intelligent person. Why didn't you know that? Because you didn't give them the chance. And that's one big thing that is a problem with social media, is that they don't give people a chance. And as people have stated in there are a lot of keyboard warriors that are able to do things behind the keyboard that they're not comfortable with saying in front of to your face.
Right.
So
they get to speak their truth. Their truth isn't the truth. So I agree with
exactly.
that.
Hey, you can just ask Callie how long it took me to fucking hook this fucking bullshit up just to get on this program today. I'm in the car right now. My boy Frankie helped me out.
Special thanks to Frankie.
My boy Frankie helped me out. He had all the gimmicks.
Frankie had some
Nas didn't know what the internet was until he hooked this fucking camera up here.
Guys and gals, I'm not going to argue with Jerry. You see the size of his hand? Jeez, I'm not going to argue with this man. Jerry Sags, guys. Let me see that hand again, please, if you don't mind. Look at this. Wow. Guys, Jerry Sags, Brian Knobs, Peter Mehlman, who moves on to round number 2? We're going to find out right now, but I concur. These men, all joking aside, are gentlemen, and I appreciate them wholeheartedly. I know we all do as well. I've worked 20 years for the greatest studio of all time, and I got to say something. What we do here now epitomizes why we do what we do, because why not have a good time? Why not talk about things that's on our mind? And why not remind all of you that you matter, because you have a voice. You get to vote. We bring up your name and your comments, and we do it all as a community over here. So let's thrive and survive and have a lot of fun while we're doing it. That being said, let's get some of the votes here right now. Okay, so let's see who
I vote for Peter. I vote for Peter.
Phil says he votes for Jerry on that one.
Rotten hell.
Jerry gets 1 point. Okay, another point for Jerry. We have more votes coming in right now. This is from Kate. Jerry for topic number 3. Okay, so Jerry gets a vote. Kayla votes for Jerry Sags again, who gets a 3rd point. Julie votes for Peter Mehlman. Brian concurs and votes for Peter Mehlman as well. Yeah, condolences to Mr. Perry's family. He really was a genuine guy. Again, not a friend. I don't
all kidding
that word lightly, but an acquaintance.
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that happened. God bless him.
Sweet guy, a very sweet guy. Very sweet.
What happened to the guy?
I heard drowning. That's what I heard. Drowning. I don't know.
No, he was found dead. He was found dead in his hot tub.
Hot tub. Victor Santiago. So
like
again,
a heart attack or something.
We don't know the details yet, but Matthew Perry has passed, guys. And again, deepest condolences to his family. Victor votes for Jerry Sags. That's 3 points for Mr. Sags. Guys and gals, Canada originally. Dakota, let's see who you're voting for as well. Michael Gross says, my vote goes to Peter. Guys, give me 1 second. Peter Mehlman gets a vote from Michael Gross. Okay. Guys, I'm going to start counting this thing down, and we are out of here, and we're about to announce a brand new show on this network that has pretty soon 70 shows besides for this tournament under one umbrella. So let's make that announcement really, really soon with a gentleman as well who'll be entering the arena soon. Sarah says, Jerry has my vote. And Julie says Peter has her vote. Thank you. Dakota, looks like Jerry takes all 3 topics of my votes tonight. Thank you, Dakota, for that. We appreciate your sentiments. Jeff going with Peter, 3 points. Wildcard voters, so Peter gets 3. And Karen votes for Peter as well. Okay, we have one more here. I'm going to count this thing down. Okay, guys. Christy votes for Jerry. 10, 9. Ramon, you vote for Peter. I got that. Thank you. And Jim. Ramon votes for Peter, and Jim votes for Peter as well. Okay, a lot of new viewers here. Jamie votes for Jerry. Thank you, Jamie, for your vote. We appreciate that as well. Thank you for your time, guys and gals. You've given us your time, and we appreciate that. Brian says, Peter Mehlman in caps and exclamation points. Thank you for screaming that.
Rock on, Brian.
All right, yeah. With a lot of passion there. Tanya said she voted for Peter. Okay, I count that right now. I appreciate that. Thank you, Victor. We appreciate you. So, guys, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We know there's a 5 and a 4 and a 3, a 2, and then there's a 1 and a 0. That means we're done. Guys, after all 3 rounds, with 34 points, Jerry Sags will move on officially to round number 2 of this tournament in a few months. And with, wow, are you kidding me? Guys, Brian Knobs has 19. Peter Mehlman has 18. Brian Knobs, by 1 point, moves on to round number 2. Barely moves on. We do have after round. I got to say this too. After round number 1, the only time we ever have a second chance bowl is after round number 1. Never again in all 5 rounds we have coming up will that happen. So Peter gets a chance to still come back. Peter, I want to just say this again. Thank you for your time, good sir. A couple years ago, you first came on here. You were amazing then. You're amazing now. You're honest now. We both hate the Knicks, although we used to love them. That always gives me chills. Thank you so much.
I'd like to announce that
they lost tonight again. They lost tonight.
We'd like to announce that Peter is our new manager, and we're going to be moving in his house in LA next week.
Yeah,
Is there a cat deli? Is there Katz's in LA? Where's the best Jewish deli in LA?
There's a couple of good delis out there.
A corned beef.
Me and Sam's got a place to stay now, Peter.
Yeah, just give me a little time to beef up my security around the house.
Yeah, a little security check, guys. After tonight, Peter Mehlman, thank you for joining us tonight, my friend.
Thank you.
Hey,
the great Peter Mehlman.
Peter, it was great meeting you.
The great Peter Mehlman. And guys, I want to plug something that's coming up here. They didn't even ask me to do this. I asked them if I can, and they're very humble because they did not ask me to plug anything. I'm talking about Brian and Jerry. But since we are plugging November 11th, November 12th, the main event in Long Island, New York, that's where you can meet these 2 awesome gentlemen, these 2 awesome human beings who gave it to you straight. They gave it to you from the heart. Guys, Nasty Boys, you're both in round number 2. How do you feel about that?
God bless you, brother. And I'm leaving again. I should get a special word for fucking with you. I had you. I came back on. I came back. I was missing from the screen. I saw your face. You're like.
No, it was more like this. It was more like.
I'll see him in 2 weeks, and I'll get him back for you, brother. I guarantee I will.
Did you guys have fun? There's a lot different.
Oh, I had a blast.
Yeah.
I had a blast. This is a great show. I hope people come out and watch it. I can't wait. I'm gonna have to ask you some favors. I know you got Jerry Rice coming on. I got a buddy over here, Frankie, that helped me out with this whole thing today. And you know what? This was a great show. I had such a good time, and it was an honor to meet Peter because I'm such a Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. And you can tell Peter we're coming and staying at his house next time we're in LA.
He's working on the locks right now. He's got the master locks.
I know.
Peter has a lot of respect. Hold on. Peter has a lot of respect for you too as well. He was texting me and likes you guys a lot. Jerry, you had fun tonight as well, my friend?
Oh, fuck yeah. What a blast. You know, hey, Peter better lock his house up because half the Jews and Catholics in LA are going to be kicking his door about the things he just said about Jesus, the son of a bitch. I'm one of them. I'm coming to get you, Peter.
Guys, the Nasty Boys, Jerry Sags and Brian Knobs, thanks to your votes, are in round number 2. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, thank you for having us. Hey, like I said to everybody, every day's a Friday and every night's a Saturday night in Nastyville, baby. You have a good one. We love you.
Brian Knobs, guys and gals. Brian Knobs. Guys, with that, don't go anywhere because we have a brand new show to announce, and we're going to do it right now. And again, what a night it was. Very unpredictable, to say the least. We'll say that. Jerry Sags and Brian Knobs. I come up with the topics. As you can see, nothing is scripted. They will go anywhere they want to go, and that's what happened tonight. They are both in round number 2, guys and gals and pals. So with that, let me bring in a gentleman right now who I see backstage. I see him backstage, and I want to bring him in right now because The following individual, guys, is a man that I deeply respect and I admire. He will always bring the fire, wire to wire, as his heart will always aspire to embrace positivity, and through the internal essence of who he is, you bet he can put out any brush fire. Theodore Roosevelt twice said, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." I concur. I believe in this man, this friend, and everything he stands for. He's down to earth. He's a gentleman. And I'm privy to the fact that rare human beings are those you cherish most. Very soon he will be an official co-host. To this I toast. The rare human being, guys and gals, that he is. And forgive me, but I'll even boast, because we're going to tackle what's important today. So as he is about to make way, let us all listen to what he has to say, because his wealth of knowledge is like an intellectual buffet. So let's bid adieu to these rhymes tonight, as they will now go away, as we put our hands together for a legend of a human being, the great Terry Allen, otherwise known as Magnum TA. Magnum, welcome, my friend.
Oh my gosh, how in the world do we follow these great soliloquies that you come up with? I mean, it's just, my hat's off to you. I am so excited about what we're going to do together, and it's going to be cool.
I am too, sir. And I love being able to do this with you, because every time we've spoken, there are people in your life that sometimes you connect with right away. And the first few times we conversed, I felt like this is a friend that I've known for years. And I haven't, of course, but that's how I felt, my friend.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think we are some old souls that have connected. And, there's so many perspectives in life that we share common ground on. And, I've just celebrated with my wife our twins' 16th birthday.
Wow.
Yesterday. So at 64 years old, I'm now going through the same thing all over again with two young people coming into their own, 16, and it's taking me back in time. And I've seen this anomaly come by 5 other times previous to them with other children, but yet in a whole different time zone now, because now again I'm 64, and these kids have come along 10 years after their brothers and sisters. So I've got a truly different respect for the challenges that young people have today that are so different than what it was back in the 60s and 70s when I was growing up. And I think we got some great things that we can share with people and encourage and kick around at what we're doing, navigating this thing called life.
Gosh, and I think people need to hear your perspective on life, because in case we haven't noticed, there's a lot of wackiness going on out that door once we head out and enter society, and we need your perspective.
We're in a day where what is good is now considered too much to speak your heart on, and things that were traditionally taboo are now the new norm, and the craziness that we're surrounded by, which is the new norm. The world that our children are going to inherit is going to take some savvy and some sound mindedness and some guidance that's going to be more critical and important than probably any time in our history.
When you were on with Lenny Wilkins, who, by the way, asked me for your contact information, I gave it to him happily. He said he was amazed by your presence, but also amazed by your generosity, and asked him, "What did you mean by that, Lenny?" He goes, "I liked how Terry was very generous with how he respected me as a human being. And the reason why I think it's cool to be able to hear or say something like that is because we're not that far apart. People have different ideologies. People have different beliefs. But at the end of the day, just getting up every day can be a struggle for a lot of people. Just waking up."
Well, just the sheer acknowledgement that there's nothing easy in this life, that every day is a challenge, and you have to apply the same principles today, tomorrow, the next day, that have allowed you to come as far as you've come, whether you're 20 years old or 60 years old or 80 years old. We've all got these great wealth of experiences and all these things that we've been able to take part in, and some of them heralded by thousands of onlookers if we've had the privilege of being professional athletes or entertainers or storytellers or many, many, many things. But every day you still have challenges, and there is no free day. There's no, we're not getting the chances of winning that the bajillion-dollar lottery and all your problems are solved supposedly, and all these things that we aspire to. It is a nation where folks are looking for something miraculous to make life easier. Is only takes me back to the principles that my grandparents and folks that worked on a farm and simultaneously another job at the Ford plant for 30 consecutive years to all of a sudden be successful. A granddaddy that had a third grade education and passed away at 86 years old, and it was a millionaire.
Wow.
Through hard work and perseverance. And I think there's just not enough message out there to encourage folks that you can make your way in this world, and being financially successful does not mean being successful in life.
I love that.
There's too many other things to navigate, as how you've made your family feel, how you connect with your peers, those around you, those you come in contact with. That's where we leave our mark.
Do you feel like, from what you've observed, Terry, because you've observed a lot as well, you've been so very generous with the information you share. Do you feel as if instant gratification is the new drug right now today?
I think social media and this explosion of the Instagram and the this and that and the other that portrays all these things that are so big that your mind can't even you can't wrap your head around it. It's so large. Has set expectation that are so unachievable and so unrealistic. Like growing up, again in the 60s and 70s, they would say, oh, the Barbie doll is such a terrible thing. It's put such a precedent on young women of what the female form is supposed to look like, and this, that, and the other. And today we've got all this stuff that is just shoved down our kids' throats about what good looks are all about. What's the measure? If you're a young kid today and you don't have a 6-pack or an 8-pack, you're fat. It's mind-boggling to me. These things that have been set out by which everyone's measuring themselves.
Yes.
And it's all just a facade. It has nothing to do with credibility and happiness.
No.
And morals and principles and things that can, this country was supposedly built on.
A writer friend asked me, he's like, do you think that we're going to live in a dystopian future? I go, we're in it right now, buddy. We're in it. We're in that dystopian future, but it's the present. We're there. And you know what? I love that you brought this up, because I had a concept, and it's really a concept I wish I didn't have. I know people are wondering, what do you mean, Avi? Like, as a writer, isn't it good to have concepts? Sure it is. But I almost wish I didn't have a concept that I'll unveil and share with you, Magnum, and everybody else here as well in the comment section. The concept I had a couple of months ago when I started racking my brain about metrics and numbers and social media and analytics, I feel like we're going to get to a point where people measure their own self-worth based on social media numbers, to the point where when you meet somebody at the supermarket, at a restaurant, wherever, you can have a name tag, but underneath that will be the amount of followers or friends that you have. And last I checked, no mortal human being should have followers, but yet people do. And they take that word literally. And pretty much we're going to measure our self-worth based on these numbers that don't amount to much, Magnum.
It's funny you should say it, because many years ago, about 30, a couple years after my accident, I sat on a street corner with a publisher, a woman from a publishing agency, talking about my story. And she was saying, well, the story's amazing, but the proof's in the pudding. Is over time, can you maintain this attitude, this idealism, the things, the principles that you've put in place that have allowed you to be as successful in trying to overcome something so devastating. But the funny thing she said, you could have the greatest story since Gone with the Wind, but if you don't have a platform to go out and let people know about that story, it'll never get told. And back then it was to get on the Oprahs and get on the talk circuits and, get on the Good Morning America show and all the things that you had to do to make you relative. And so today, if you want to write a book, as I found out in going through a whole nother process with someone who had done a lot of work for the WWE, said, hey, today publishing companies want to see what influence do you have in the social media world? And if you don't have at least 100,000 followers, don't even begin to try to pitch anything to anyone, because you're not simply relative in today's world as far as they perceive you.
Yeah, the barometer in terms of how people are gauging the value of a human being is so sickening to me. Turning over to the viewers, Magnum, with any comments that you want to address, feel free, because there's a bevy of them right now. This is from Julie. She says, if you are true and honorable, you'll never have to worry. That's from Julie. Thank you much for that comment. Appreciate that. Be true to oneself, Julie Hall says. Absolutely. Thank you for your live comments, guys and gals. Dakota says, always use your words to bring people up, never break people down. I love that. Totally agree with that, Dakota. This is Karen. Growing up in every generation is hard, but now almost impossible with social media and its pressure. That's from Karen Calabretta. Appreciate that comment as well. We have some more. My inspiration show is every Monday morning. Keep inspiring. Keep doing what you're doing. We need more people to inspire, guys and gals. Even if you have to perspire, it's worth it. Trust me. Some more comments here coming down the pike, guys, and we'll show you the artwork of our incredible program. I don't want to really call it a show, because it's a program that hopefully will help you and guide you. And there's so many truths that are not so absolute these days, and we'll try to talk about what our truth means to us, and maybe it'll mean something to you as well. Other people's options of you don't weigh in on your life. We need more inspiration. This is Jeff Reeder. As much good as you can find in social media, there's much more about it that's worse. Not only ruining the kids, but dividing the country with false narratives and everything. You agree with that, Magnum?
Amen.
Yeah.
I mean, we will definitely engulf ourselves with a lot of back and forth about that, because it's so easy to confuse today, to confuse the consumer with a narrative that, it used to be just, it was so obvious in the news networks, and that became just a norm. You just said, oh, well, they're biased to this, they're biased to that, they've got their agenda. But the media in the social media world that has everybody looking at it, goodness knows how many hours a day,
sure,
is monstrous. So it is so easy to put a spin, put a take something out of context, do whatever you want to do to hide the truth. And you can just take a small element of anything and get a really distorted opinion that you feel passionate about.
Sure.
That you're willing to almost come to blows with somebody over how much your belief is something, and it might not even be remotely what they were trying to say or what they're about. So today we've got to, to talk about taking things with a grain of salt, stepping back and looking at it from a different perspective before you let it elevate you to suck you right into that same vortex that somebody else just is sitting back laughing because they were able to manipulate so many people by doing that.
Much like yourself, and I concur, much like yourself, I wasn't born into the internet era, and I used to love sitting under the learning tree, keeping my mouth shut, listening, because it was exciting to listen. It was exciting to learn. And now I don't think there's a learning tree that people can go to anymore. Not a learning tree, maybe a burning tree, because a lot of people are going for false information and lean to that false information as a way to inspire them. And really, they don't do their due diligence. I wish people did their due diligence. I remember giving a speech to a couple of students when I was teaching U.S. history, and I always brought up the fact that our history is created today, and we get to shape the future. And why not have a history we can be proud of? Isn't it exciting to know that we can actually shape our history? We can do that today. We can do that now if we'd like to. It really does start with this, and then this, and then this. I think this comes last, Magnum.
Well, I tell you, for me, it starts at home, because we have a whole generation of people that have been caught up in moms and dads both working themselves to death and letting their kids get raised by the school, by their sports teams, by all the influences around them that are invested in them. And in trying to create this better life,
sure,
that we haven't been able to have that old-fashioned foundation of sitting down and listening, hearing what really is going on in their world. What are they hearing every day? What are they feeling? And helping them navigate their fears, rather than they're on TikTok and they're on this and that, and they're trying to get their answers from something that's completely
right.
just manipulated. So it's
man.
So the family unit has never been more important and has never been more dysfunctional. People sitting around a table, everybody's looking at their phones and they don't even know how to converse with each other in public.
The saddest thing I used to see was seeing senior citizens sitting alone at a diner. Now the saddest thing I can see is seeing people who are not senior citizens, who are in my age group, sitting with their significant other, not saying a word to each other because they're stuck on their devices. It's happening every day, and it sickens me. Guys, this is just a sneak peek as to what you'll get, but why not give you a visual presentation here? Next week, we're going to actually have a sizzle trailer, which will give you some moving images, but for now, take a look at this here, guys and gals, because this man, Terry Allen, is not going to say it, so I will. Not only will we discuss some of the items that we've presented to you here live, but we're also going to discuss the next chapter for Mr. Magnum TA, we're talking about a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt. We're talking about one of the greatest in the ring. There's no doubt. But guys and gals, the human being, Terry Allen, is a Hall of Famer as well. And when it comes to the next chapter, Terry, I think we said it earlier, we're pretty excited to be able to delve into that.
Well, I totally believe that you've got to surround yourself with people that help keep you sharp and put you on the edge and make you have to scratch your head a little bit and think. So you have to up your game. And if we're not helping each other up our games, then we're pulling each other down. And I feel like everything that you're trying to do in this entire network is trying to bring viewpoints and make people think and realize, to your point, how we're all so alike, no matter what walk we come from, where we come from, how successful we've been in some element of something that we may have got a lot of notoriety for, yet we're all every day getting up, getting that fresh start to a new day, putting our feet on the ground and going to go create something new every day. And it's going to be a ride.
That's heartfelt. And I love the simplicity of that. And I love how you're able to really present as a speaker as well. Your honesty shines through because we've all got that detector and we could tell. And I'm glad I'm working with an honest person like you. It's a breath of fresh air. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you the following, Mr. Allen. You are now, so since you qualified on August 5th, round one is still, it's in its 11th hour, but it's still going on. In the past few weeks, Jesse Ventura's moved on to round number 2. Sergeant Slaughter's moved on. Mick Foley's moved on to round number 2. A bevy of film and TV. We now are at 50 award winners from Hollywood, major award winners. And guys, 25 Hall of Famers, 25 award winners, that makes 50 that are in this tournament. Are you looking forward to round number 2, my friend? Because you're in there.
Oh, of course I am. I mean, the round one was something that I had no idea what to expect. I mean, I certainly had no idea. And you challenged me with something that I really wasn't expecting. And it made me delve into a lot of thinking and going back in my past and really to quantify the way I really felt about it. I wasn't just there to give you an answer.
Sure.
It evoked emotions. And I wanted to be able to validate that emotion and why it was there. And it's not necessarily a right or wrong thing. It's just how it affects you, and then being able to bring that back out and express that to the viewers. And it's fun. It stretches your brain, and it makes you have to engage with all kinds of different folks. And frankly, it's very refreshing.
Thank you so much. And Lenny has a lot of respect for you too. And I told you the next day he called me and said, I want to get to know Terry more. So that was the greatest compliment, I thought, because this is what it is. Great convo as always. Guys, that's it. Beyond the pomp and circumstance of the intros and the fun, it's great conversation. Magnum not only contributes to that, he leads the way. Jeff says he's looking forward to Magnum TA's show. Yeah, you should be. It's going to be amazing. Mr. Allen, again, thank you for giving us your time. Is there anything you want to let our viewers know, my friend?
Just that, every day we wake up is a blessing and it's another opportunity. And I firmly believe that, as long as we're engaged, opportunities will come our way. When your lack of engagement, you got nobody to blame but yourself.
That's a great message. And I hope we can all apply that, guys and gals. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. And guys, stay tuned for details for the next chapter starring Magnum TA, Terry Allen himself.
Pleasure, Avi. Look forward to it.
Likewise, my friend. Have a great rest of the weekend.
All right. You too, my friend.
Terry Allen, guys and gals. I love conversing with him as much on the phone as just about any human being because, man, oh, man, what you see on screen is who he is. What a night, guys. So yet another show. 2 weeks ago was Mark Henry lifting the curtain. Last week, Coronemic down the rabbit hole. And now Magnum TA, the next chapter. I promised you the network's growing, didn't I? I said that every single Saturday you're going to see new artwork. And I won't just announce a show. That's not fun. Why not bring in my co-host, my new co-host who will be there on screen to announce their new show. And in case you want to know the details about what the shows entail, subscribe to the network, guys. And even now, go to our YouTube channels. We have two of them. The New Network, that's all you have to type in. Of course, we know the word new is with a K. And we have another one, guys and gals. And I want you to go to the New Network Celebrity Tournament. Please subscribe. It's free. Comment, like, share all those videos. It means a lot to us. It will really help if you continue doing that. If you like what you're watching, please do that. Go to your YouTube channels now. It takes 1 second to do that. I will pull up a banner over here, a scrolling banner. Go to YouTube, guys and gals, and just type in the easiest way to do it is to type in the New Network and the New Network Celebrity Tournament. You got 2 channels to pick from, free content, amazing content, and even on the network, when you go to www.thenewnetwork.com, a lot of free content, celebrity conversations, trailers, promos, artwork, there's galleries, bios, so much to choose from, and we're giving it all to you as well. So Saturday night, guys and gals, this first round, I told you was going to be wild. I told you all it was going to be wild. And Joe Rositano and Giselle, who are going to be on screen in about 20 seconds, they might concur. And, of course, I know that they appreciate the honesty of Brian and Jerry. But, man, what a wild ride it was, huh? Jerry Sags and Brian Knobs. Brian barely eked out a win. Peter was making that comeback. I didn't even know until that third topic. And then Peter got some wild card votes. He was close. He was close to moving on. But, guys, we're not done. We got more show to go. We blur lines pretty soon. And you know what that means. For those that know, they're in the know. For those that don't know, they should know, and they will know. So, guys and gals, let's bring in Giselle and Joe Rositano.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
Such a busy time, but what a wonderful show we had this evening. Getting to see Brian Knobs, Jerry Sags, and, of course, Peter Mehlman, which I was thinking it was going to be him, but at the same time, I didn't know. How about you? Did you have any guesses as to who our roster was going to be?
Peter Mehlman is a pretty great guess, seeing as how he has appeared on the Green Room before. So it makes sense for him to show up in this prestigious celebrity tournament that we have. 50. Can we stress that enough tonight, Joe? 50 Hall of Fame members and major award winners and nominees right now in the celebrity tournament, Saturday nights. 50, and we're not done with round 1 yet.
No, we're not done at all. This is just it's like the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these things for round 1, because round 1 keeps going, but at the same time, do you really want round 1 to end? Because then that means that we know everything. It's like we know what's at stake, but at the same time, round 2 is going to be amazing, and that's why we get our names that keep adding up. So it's a rewarding, it's back and forth, it's fantastic. Love
it is. Are we having fun? We're having fun, right? Like, we don't want round 1 to end because it's so much fun seeing who comes in every week, seeing what topics are going to be discussed. My favorites lately have definitely been the thought-provoking topics in the third round of each match, and tonight was no exception to that. What do you think of the topics this evening, Joe?
Oh my goodness. My favorite topics outside of topic number 3, which was a very good topic in its own way to whoever it concerned. I really liked topic number 1 because iconic movie posters are classic. I love cinema. I love movies in general. So I enjoyed getting to hear their takes on why it was classic and at the same time, iconic.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate that. What were your favorite topics or topic tonight?
I did also enjoy the first one because there's a lot that goes into a movie poster or a live stage poster. It has to capture the essence of the show, bring you the atmosphere, let you know what you can expect from this particular production and give you all of that in a single image. So what posters for you have done that?
I would have to say ones that have done that have been Yellow Submarine and I would say Pink Floyd's The Wall are ones that immediately come to mind that you see them, but they give you just enough.
And you have to know more. You need to know what is going to happen. What captivates you in that poster? What do you need to know about this story? Because the poster is only giving you a tiny little glimpse of it. Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Guys and gals, yeah, let me just bring this up here right now if I can. 3.3 thousand comments, guys. Let's break some records. I want to say this again. This is live and it's free. And every Saturday night, if you've enjoyed what you watched tonight, don't just stick around because a friend told you to. Check out what we do next week. Next Saturday night, you want to talk about some of the greatest talents in the world all assembled in one place. Watch the outro tonight. The outro is going to let you know if you stick around, and we're probably going to go around for another hour or so. If you stick around to the end, and we implore you to do so, by watching the outro, you're going to see all the hints and clues of next week's competitors. When I say star-studded, this thing is star-studded and packed to the gills. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate that. Arthur Williams, Joe is always so thoughtful. Yeah, judged an incredibly passionate match filled with energy. There's no doubt about that.
Very.
It has been talked about a lot. Guys, and again, we're giving you two things that you can enjoy and sink your teeth into. We're giving you talk shows. Magnum and I are going to have a talk show. What does that consist of? Me and Magnum talking about topics with you. We'll go live eventually. And it's part of 70 different shows on this network. Joe has a show called The Voiceover. Giselle has a show called Paper Knife. And they really all emphasize one thing that they have in common, which is unity, because we are all the same and we could learn from each other. The mission statement for each show might be different, but it will definitely give you what I dub edutainment. Education and entertainment. We interweave the two together. You will get that wholeheartedly here on this network. And our goal, look, we've only just begun. This is our first year of the new network, of TKN. Prior to that, it was learning the ropes, right? And here we are right now with TKN. A lot of people, I never thought I would be doing anything like this. I was content to be a professional writer and teacher and never really thought of this. But here we are. We're together. I wouldn't have it any other way. It is virtual, but we always brag about all of you as well. We all appreciate you as well, and we love how you give us your time. And there's really nowhere else where you can all be part of this community and we talk to you, like I am right now with TKN Family by Christy Belcher, who I agree with. Robert, love seeing you again. Everyone is totally engaged. Tons of comments. Glad I'm back. I'm glad you're back too, Robert. We love you, man. We missed you. Robert Arwood, man, has been there since day one. He's a great human being. Dakota, the only show of its kind, TKN, is taking talk shows to a whole new level.
Yes. Thank you.
We'll get some of your comments so we can read them over here. Great topics, great shows, amazing people. Thank you. Miss Richards, we appreciate that as well. Great show every Saturday. Much more show to go, guys. Great place to be. Sean Archer, been there since day one, my friend. I appreciate you. This show's amazing. Thank you, Sean Archer.
You, Sean.
Definitely must start somewhere. Yeah, and you know what, guys? What a start it's been, because I challenge you to go down that rabbit hole in Google land. Or they still use CompuServe. They have that search bar, but that's no. Guys, go down Google, the Google rabbit hole, and try to pull out a rabbit that says 50 Hall of Famers and award winners in one place. The Tonight Show doesn't do it. I'm bragging about that because it takes hard work. It takes sweat. It takes determination, perseverance. Some people will get that. Some people won't. But you cannot allow your dreams to go to sleep, because if you do, guess what? Reality will be something that is a far distant dream. Isn't that strange that the reality can become the dream? If your dreams go to sleep, your reality will go to sleep with them. So wake up, fight for what you do. The sweat is the sweet. Roll up your sleeves. And if you had a bad day, so what? That's how it goes sometimes. Nobody said that you're guaranteed to have a great day every day. You love what you do? Prove it. Because that reward, whatever it is, it may not be monetary. It may be, a lot of times for me, it's not. Whatever it is, it wants to know that you love it. You love writing? Prove it. You love storytelling? Prove it. You love this tournament? Prove it. Prove it every day by never whining or complaining about things that go awry. Because even though it's good to share the negative moments with people we trust, don't stay in that place. If you stay in that place, it is like quicksand. It's going to take you down. So I want to let you guys know this because you might be having a bad day as well. And I guarantee you, we're here for you on Saturday nights. We're here on the network. We're here on YouTube. We're expanding. And yeah, The Tonight Show, 50 people from, again, all walks of life, award winners, Golden Globe, Oscar, Emmy, Tony, soon to be Grammy, and Hall of Famers, 50 of them in this format. Does The Tonight Show do that? Or did they just show up there to plug their film or plug their project? They're here to win. They're here to talk about topics that live perhaps they never got a chance to delve into, things that mean a lot to them. That's what this place is. I know where this thing is going. It'll be off Facebook one day, and there's nothing wrong with Facebook because you know what? We can say what we want, but that platform allowed us to meet all of you. We're glad we're here, but we got our sights set on higher platforms and higher places, and we're going to get there, but we're going to enjoy this ride. That's the beauty. So if anybody out there is listening going, yeah, well, let me tell you this. We're not rushing. We love this. If we don't make it tomorrow, cool. We're enjoying today. We don't make it next month, cool. We're enjoying next week. We're enjoying every bit of this ride. So you can't get us down. Because even if nobody hands us a contract and saying, you've been signed by Netflix or Amazon next year, guess what? I know I'll be happy because when I wake up, I know how I feel about this show and this network and these people here like Giselle and Joe and everybody else who's a part of this and all of you. I know how I feel. When I wake up, not only do I know it's worth it, I feel great. I feel elated. I might be tired, I might be drained, but I feel good about doing what we're doing. So there is no rush. It's a win-win. If we don't make it based on other people's expectations of what success entails, great. We're still loving each other. And if we do get a chance to be on a platform, if we do get a chance to work for perhaps a studio, if we do get a chance to get distribution, if we do get a chance to go to those places I'd like for us to go, that'll be awesome as well because more people will know about it. And you guys, for now, can get the word out and say that you were here from day number one. It's a special feeling to know that you watched the Ramones and CBGB circa 1975. It's a special place to know that you were here in TCAN with us in 2023. So, yeah, that's how I feel about this place. Absolutely, yeah. Couldn't have said thank you so much, Kayla. And give love to the Green Roomers for what they do because they're absolutely amazing. Sure, there's no doubt about that. Going along for the ride, says Ramon. Yes, appreciate you. Thank you so much. A lot of new viewers tonight. The most successful people have failed the most. Yes, and that would be a success, right? Couldn't have said it. Thank you, sir. You're never alone. Thank you, Brian. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. You guys are awesome. It's honestly getting harder to pick just one winner in the end. You're right. They wouldn't be here if they didn't want to be here. But guess what? I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be here as well. I agree with Julie Hall. But we're all on the same level playing field here. We all are. That's what people that maybe haven't had experience doing this tournament don't know. Like everyone's learning from each other. And Julie's got an amazing preview, guys, on Julie Reader's page that you can see, previewing all things TCAN. We appreciate Julie Hall. Chad, guys and gals, more on him in a moment. Robert says, LOL, I've been down that rabbit hole. Yes, there's no rabbits in there. This is the only place for entertainment. Robert, you've been around here since 2020, my friend. Robert Arrowwood, man, great to see you again. I love that you're back. Yeah, stay a while, my friend. We appreciate you. I'll definitely try coming back on Facebook for this next Saturday. We got a hell of a matchup, Jamie. I love this place so much. Chad, we love you as well. Green Roomers are number one. Guys and gals, speaking of number one and number two and number three and number four and number five, why not get Chad's top five? Chad's top five. What will the topic be? We'll find out right now.
Good evening, everybody. Top five to give you your top five most nail-biting matches of the tournament so far to date that I believe anyways. Let's get right into it. Number five, I'm definitely going to have to say it's Cindy versus Sergeant Slaughter versus Mick Foley. This one was a real good nail-biter, tight to the end. I don't think anybody will disagree with that one. Number four has got to be Scott Winters versus Pete Babcock. This one here was totally another amazing one, well fought. Both sides did the best that they could. Really wish that both of them could have went into the second round, but Obviously, they couldn't. Number 3's got to be Gerald versus Hauser versus Fred. This one here, it was another one down to the wire. Anybody at all could have actually went in and took this one out. Hauser did amazing, almost snuck in, should have made round 2, but didn't. Here's to the fishbowl, brother. Number 2's definitely got to be Stephen Tobolowsky versus Todd Bridges. Another awesome match. And my all-time number 1's definitely got to be Truly Julie versus Kate. 1 point finish. Can't really get any tighter than that. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My top 5. Hopefully to see you next Saturday with another top 5. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.
Cannot disagree with any of those, and definitely not the first pick at all. I'm not biased. No bias there at all. No, Truly Julie is an amazing competitor. We are one of only 2 matches that went 4 rounds. 4 rounds. We didn't know our last 2 topics, and it was decided by one singular vote. And a lot in this tournament has changed since then, but that was one of the most exhilarating and nail-biting matches out there, for sure.
Joe is a part of something historic, too, because I'll have to check the records. Maybe after round 1, I'll spend a Saturday night or a Sunday night after the green room and delve into the record books, but I don't think we saw someone who was down as large as Jason London was.
No, never.
Roaring back.
Never.
No.
It was incredible.
Huge comeback.
He was down big. He was down real big. It looked like Rock Richards and Joe were going to move on. Joe, of course, did move on and is in round 2 along with Giselle. But Joe, you were right there live as well. It didn't look like Jason London was going to move on.
No, it didn't look like it at all. But I mean, as everyone saw, he picked it up and he went with it and he got our hearts, man. Like his garden talk. Yeah, no.
That last topic
was excellent.
He had everything you could possibly throw in there, and he had everybody thinking and sobbing, and he explained it all so well. You couldn't help but vote for him in that topic. At least I couldn't. I can't speak for everyone, but I think the votes proved that because he wound up the highest total vote getter for the night. And it was in large part to that topic.
Absolutely.
Guys, there's more nail biters. And again, stick around for the outro. Don't go anywhere because if you've watched this much, trust me, you'll be entertained by what we do now. But again, just remind yourselves of this. This outro that we have later on tonight, it's about 3 minutes, is not only going to just give you like a reminder as to who might be on next week and their accolades and accomplishments, but it's pretty motivational stuff. I think you all will really, really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So guys and gals, we love telling you again how much you mean to us. And if we go silent right now for a minute, it's because of this. You're smiling, you're laughing, and you're No, your
It was a good time tonight.
your energy has been strange the last couple of weeks. I've noticed something interesting about how you seem to be in a jolly old mood. We're a couple of months away from Christmas, no less, but yet you've been really vague in general about why you're in such a jolly old mood, Giselle. Jolly Giselle.
I'm in round 2. What's there not to be jolly about? You keep bringing in these amazing people. Again, a combined 50 Hall of Fame members and major award winners and nominees. I don't see a reason to not be jolly.
Robert Arwood's jolly, and I'm glad he's here. Great to see you too, Robert. But you know what? Giselle is up to something. Guys, I like good stories. I've told you before that I love good stories, didn't I?
You have. I enjoy
So do
them as
you.
well.
We're part of a story now. But we're part of a different sort of a story. People like spoilers these days. They like flipping to that last chapter, don't they, Giselle? They love going to that last page. They love fast forwarding to that last frame that they see on screen. They love being able to get to the end, get to the end, get to the end. Sometimes they find out that getting to the end is a dead end. And sometimes when you get to a dead end and you turn around, there's nowhere else to go. Precisely my story. A place where many people have somewhere to go, nowhere to go, somewhere to go. Where are you going?
That remains to be seen. But sometimes, when you get to a dead end, you turn around and you can go back. And then you have a chance to start over. Isn't that what's been happening these past few weeks? There's been talk, mention of writing and writing and writing and rewriting.
Yeah, there has been, hasn't there? You're right. Very perceptive of you, Giselle. A lot of rewrites going on. To our new viewers, there was a series last year called The Lake. Before the celebrity tournament of, we had 70 or 80 now? Before the celebrity tournament was here before you every Saturday night, there was a horror series, and Giselle portrayed a character named Kate Hart. I portrayed a character named The Author, and we all loved what happened on November 26th when our season finale came to an end. These incredible storytellers had 3-4 days notice to produce their stuff, sometimes less, sometimes more. Nevertheless, I was writing 30 stories per week for 30 characters in 2 days. And we told a great story, but it seemed like once this celebrity tournament began, some of you could not relinquish your hold on these characters that you were so infatuated with. Megan with Gina, you with Kate, Phil with Justin. And I told you that story, although something I cherish and always will, is behind me. It's in the rearview mirror. Yeah, I know you don't like hearing that, but the reason why we blur lines now is because this story that you're trying to tell has already been told. What I'm merely doing is reminding all of you that this next chapter has brilliant new characters. We saw Lauren, the lioness of the second chapter. I knew that'd get your attention. We saw a lot of individuals like yourself last season that were fighting against the dark forces out there. Lauren is an improvement. Because what's old sometimes is not gold. And sometimes what's sold is bold. And she's quite bold, that Lauren. Oh, she is. And of course, we've been hearing about her and what she's been doing to John Red this whole time. wrapping John Red around her little itty-bitty finger. This lioness might be the only lioness that I've written for the next chapter, which means that some of you, that my pen deems worthy, will be the ones that make it to that second chapter. I wrote something that was quite supernatural, that requested the very best from you, a body of water, if you will. Some of you failed to deliver. A Mindy Red. Maybe a John Red. Maybe a Howard Collado. The abyss is always going to be here, Robert. But perhaps those that try to rise from said abyss have already drowned. Perhaps what's old will stay old. We call these things delusions of grandeur. Giselle. When some people delude themselves into assuming that they're fighting for something that means so much, when all they're fighting for is ego, pride, salvaging the latter, when there's really no fight. So as we watch a dear friend of mine, a man who's a brother who I've known for 20 years, a man who I love as much as he drives me crazy, a man named Howard Collado, when I see my friend forcing me as an author to make sure that I stay honest and make sure that these characters that are in round number 2 and in chapter number 2, when I have to remind him that in order to make it to this 6th chapter and be there at the end, he's got to put away petty things. We've been watching him the last few weeks, months really, with JW fighting for my approval, fighting for a foundation, because JW was here before this place was here. And Howard was here when our first sunrise was enjoyed by the very few that watched. So yes, they were innovators. Yes, they were originators. But they're fighting for the foundation. They're fighting for ego and pride, which will get them nowhere. Oh, he rocks all right. Howard Collado, guys and gals, is trying to remind us that the foundation that he assumes he built in his history with me is all that matters. He's trying to tell JW that somehow, whether it's a party, whether it's a confession, he's trying to remind all of you that there's no room for another originator like Jarrell. He's trying to tell me to watch my back, that Jarrell came out of the woodworks all of a sudden. But we heard Jarrell's story in his testimony 2 weeks ago when he talked about how our friendship runs deep as well. I will not pick between friends. I will not do so. So guys and gals, I told Howard Collado, you have a lot to be happy about. Be festive. Celebrate you're in round number 2. And put this petty rivalry with JW aside. Because if you don't, I guarantee you one thing. Party's over.
Probably wondering why I'm here. I mean, shouldn't I be getting ready for my second round opponent? Maybe I should take JW's threat seriously. Well, sorry guys, I can't exactly be negative about this situation. I mean, think about it. The green room, breaking records, comments and views, TK and launch, relaunch, a full lineup of new shows, and I, Howard Collado, is in the second round of the most prestigious tournament that anyone has ever seen, and JW is gone. That's cause for partying, right guys?
Yeah!
All right, so I forgot to introduce some of my friends. So this is...
Hi, Sandra.
And this is...
Hi, I'm Natalie.
Natalie! Awesome. And look, and they're here, okay, because the fight for the foundation isn't only about where you've been, JW. The fight for the foundation it isn't just about the history behind the mystery of Avi Klein, myself, and Avi Klein and you. Part of this fight for the foundation is to realize that we're having fun doing what we're doing. You see, I took you back to the roots. I took you back to yesteryear. And you were able to realize that, yes, our stage was the stage that we loved. We bonded because me and Avi, we became friends and brothers. And you took it back and reminded us that you bonded over basketball. You see, JW, the story that you told about your wife,
the person who I was with, we were together for 13 years. We were married for 5 of those 13 years. She divorced me, and I didn't know where my life, would go from there because, hell, I didn't have a plan B. I thought I would be married and that would be it, but Avi was there for me. He helped get me through the times. He helped talk me through it.
It was touching to hear about how Avi was there for you and how deep your brotherhood was with Avi. It truly was. But you see, JW, we've all been there for each other. We pick each other up, and that's what you're seeing now. I'm no longer down, I'm in a celebratory mood. And that's what they represent. The joy that me and Avi shared. I mean, who wants to be around friends that are down and negative and boring all the time? No, I mean, look, beyond theater and college, we partied together, man. We had fun. Just like we're having fun now. And we're having fun, right? Oh, yeah! See, we're having fun. We're having a party. Me and Avi, we created this thing because we wanted to have fun as well. I haven't seen you have fun. I've seen you brooding and mopey. And not once have you demonstrated just how united you are with Avi. JW, take a look at this party. This party represents the times that Avi and I had when we traveled the state lines and had fun a lot. I mean, a lot of the ladies, a lot of fun there. Some of the guys. We had fun and we bonded over that. Do you see? What I've heard from you is that what makes me insignificant in your eyes, what makes me insignificant in your eyes is your lack of storytelling. Your lack of memories that are fruitful, uplifting, and fun. Can we say the word together, fun? Your lack of connecting, fun! Your lack of connecting reminds us why you and Avi had a fun friendship. It's what's missing when you're describing your history with him. So JW. So guys, I don't know what to do. I mean, what should I do because JW wants to spoil the fun?
Ignore him. Block him on social media.
But I mean, he might still want to. He's gonna continue just thinking I'm insignificant and I'm not part of this foundation called the Green Room. I mean, what do you think I should do?
Tie him up and have him watch himself talking for 6 hours in front of a camera.
But he's gonna keep going and just be very adamant about me just not being important at all. So I am so stumped. I mean, what do you think I should do?
Why don't you just kill him?
Gee, just did I kill you, JW? Huh. That took me back. Things are getting a bit quiet right now. I guess that means the party's over, right? I guess that means I've had as much fun as I could handle.
Why didn't you just kill him? Why didn't you just kill him?
Maybe I should take their advice.
One thing's for sure. They won't be stopped. So the days and nights of me trying to insist that they do are long gone. Logic doesn't have a home in Howard's psyche. And I hope that JW can be the one to walk away. Party's over, Howard. Maybe those courts. Maybe they have a place in this next chapter after all. All I wanted you to do was win this tournament and be the one in that sixth chapter. The only one to catch that sun when the clock strikes midnight. Because it won't be back until then. You had your chance in the first chapter like everybody else. Guys and gals and pals, it gets a little darker. Because even though Howard's party's over, and the silly fight for the foundation is something that he and JW are pursuing, I'm not against being able to fight for what you believe in, like my good old buddy Kelly White. Pete and Julie and Pete, they thought this was all a game. They wanted to host their very own Green Room episode after round number 1. But Kelly White made a deal that I could not refuse. Of course, I'm having fun. I got Kelly watching my back. And I'm watching his. He asked Pete a question a while back. He asked him, why is it so worthwhile to host your very own episode live here on the Green Room? He asked Julie that question too. And they didn't really have an answer. Maybe, just maybe, Kelly White is there to answer. Last week, we heard those horrific sounds in the basement of one Kelly White. We all thought it was Pete Sharpey that he was torturing, but no. No, Pete appeared right after that, didn't he? And we all assumed that maybe Kelly White was just hearing his own voices. Guys, gals, would-be pals, Julie and Pete. This man, Kelly White, ain't quite all right. And if you thought the last week was just pretend, seeing is definitely believing.
start singing. Hey, Bob, hey. Don't want you getting dehydrated out here now, do we? Come on, a little water, man. I don't want you people to think that I was oblivious to all the chatter in the comment section Saturday. I read it all the same as you. Word for word. So I know all the people talking about Pete Sharpie is being held hostage, oh my. And the other people talking about there's nobody even there. And then the people talking about how the voices in my head are just that. Until they heard them too. So take this, poor soul here. See, he's not done any evil in his life, no more than any of you. He's the epitome of the common man. Drives a forklift 40 hours a week, drives a used car, struggles with a mortgage and taking care of his family. He goes to church every Sunday. Oh yeah, but he's Pete Sharpie's friend. Let me jog your memory a little bit, Pete. I told you that the epitome of torture was not me slicing your pallid, pale corporate throat with this very knife. No. It's you knowing that's happening to other people. People you love and care about. And that it's all your fault. This was an easy solve, Pete. It could have been 100% prevented. All you had to do, Pete, was go away. All you had to do, Julie, was go away. But you wouldn't. So now others have to go away. Friends, family, they have to go away now. So I hope it was all worth it just to shoot your own little episode of the Green Room. If you still choose to do that. But mark my words, when that time comes, there will be nothing left. So scurry off to your little cages, slam the little gilded bars, huddle and hide in the corner. Because my cage door is wide open. George, come on, George, wake up. Wake up, George, look there. Looky there. See that? This is all being preserved for posterity. You got any last words? That's just as well. Because something I found is that those things not quite heard and those things not quite seen are the things that gnaw on the back of your mind and create nightmares. Chin up, Pete! Ah!
He called him Pete at the end. How sweet. How sweet indeed. That message was for Pete, Julie. Maybe next week he'll have a message for you. Truly, Julie. You were quiet earlier today, and you seem quiet now. Anyway, Kelly White just gave you and everyone watching a bit of a glimpse into the future. Because while you played your little games and we were celebrating all these amazing matchups, you wanted to host your very own Green Room episode. And I know some people are thinking, come on, haven't we gone too far here? Who is this George? Some friend of Pete's, as Kelly said? Is it worth going to those extremes just because you guys want to host a show? That's not... My intention was to never give you that opportunity. My intention was to remind you that it comes with a price. And that price, Julie, doesn't just have to be paid in full by you and Pete, but as Kelly mentioned ever so clearly, with the clarity of a hummingbird, your friends and family are going to have to pay that price as well. Well, why do you keep holding this? What is that on your head? Is that a bandage? What do you have on your head? Why are you holding a bandage, Julie? Got something to say? Because you might be next. Got something for me? No? Why do you keep fiddling with your head? Why are you so sad, Julie? What happened to you? It's not the Julie I know. Show us. Sure. Show us why you're so sad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep going. Oh. What is that? Oh, no, move your hand. What? That is a bandage like I thought it was. Well, you've gone this far, haven't you? Oh. Don't cheat the audience, Julie. We must never cheat the audience. What the heck is that? How did you? The stitches? How? Yeah, stitches? How the hell did you get stitches? Who gave you those stitches, Julie?
We'll just have to find out next week.
Find out. Julie? Julie? We will. We will. Next week, we're going to find out where those stitches came from. What kind of message Kelly has to send to Julie. Perhaps someone she knows. We're also going to find out if JW has a response to Mr. Collado. Keep talking about Megan. How she was so behind the idea of rewrites. And we'll hear from her too. But Phil, I see you in the comments section, Phil. I want you to type and let me know if you're listening to me right now, Phil. Why don't you type and let me know? Are you okay? We're going to find out. I'm intrigued. Aren't you guys intrigued to find out exactly who did this to Julie? Because I think that's unforgivable. I think that's horrible that something like that happened to her. I don't condone that at all. I mean, to think if she just gave up these delusions of hosting the show, I mean, that's not... Just, I was hoping that she didn't make the wrong decision, because if she had thought twice about making such a mistake, she wouldn't be hurting right now. We don't want to see her hurting because we care about her. Thou art in the thick of it, Julie, and I was hoping you wouldn't be. Is it a mistake, Mr. Klein? Who's doing this to her? We don't know. Who's doing this to her? We're going to find out next week. Where's Phil? Phil, I guess you don't want to type here, Phil, huh? All right, Phil. Well, guys and gals, I had something for Phil, but I don't see here in the comment section. So, guys, nonetheless, Phil Justin is going to react to something we see on screen next Saturday night. What is it we're going to see on screen next Saturday night from Phil Justin? I don't want to reveal that. We're going to have to stay tuned and find out what that is. But some of you have made it to the end. So why don't you stay here a little bit longer and find out what we have next week? Before we do that, I do want to have a conversation with someone, but good old Mindy Red. We haven't talked much about good old Mindy, have we? Or John, or Lauren, or Pinocchio Joe. Last we heard, there was an ultimatum that I, yours truly, Avi Klein, presented onto John Red last Saturday. And I asked Mr. Red if he realizes how Mindy Red, his former love, his wife, didn't quite make any sort of advancements in season 1 of The Lake. It might be deemed a liability. And as a result, Lauren, his new love interest, has to fill those shoes. The great Charles Darwin. Evolution! I told John, this can only end one way. Either he ends Mindy Red, or this man, guys and gals, will be given the task of ending one Mindy Red. Hey, Ben James. It's so good to see you, Ben. It's so great to see you here live. Gosh, guys and gals, this is Ben James, the messenger. A man, guys and gals and pals, who gets things done. And a man who's been dying to come out of the pages of this story. And he won't be doing the dying. He'll be making sure others are doing the dying. And I know he's chomping. Aren't you chomping at the bit, Ben James? Aren't you dying to know what Mindy Rhett's fate will be? You know, you're doing everything. No. Before you continue doing that, why don't you give me some notes, because chapter number 2 is upon us. Do you have some notes for me, Ben James? I was so wondering if you do. What notes do we have? Let's show them the words that I have written for all of you. A glimpse into chapter 2, if you will. Take your time, Ben. Let's share these words with everyone. Okay. Take your time. See what you have there, buddy. Huh. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's an empty page.
I can't wait to write her demise. Oh, John. Tick tock. Tick tock.
You heard it here first, guys and gals. TikTok is right! Because pretty soon, if you don't take care of this, John, Mr. Ben James will. So consider this tonight a night of the messengers. A message from Kelly to Julian Pete. Something very visceral. And also one from Ben James. And for all of you who are yearning for something else next Saturday night, you know that this is the place to be. Because after all, it's about the pride and the prize and the riches and the spoils. Is it not? It always has been. So what do we have on tap for you next Saturday night? Take a look and enjoy. And by the way, when we get to the end of this video, take a look at the accolades of some of these competitors.
There's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about? Is it all you ever think about? Is it all you ever think about? Let's face it, it's you against you out there. When you walk on that court, you have to think, I am the best guy out there. I don't care if LeBron's playing.
I'm the only candidate that spent his entire career literally working in the private sector. Even while I was mayor, I was required to hold a full-time job in the private sector. My two opponents, they've been cashing government checks for well over 20 years.
Okay, speak.
Plant fear, and fear will grow. Because if you have a man looking at you, and he has a little fear in his heart, where does that put him? But in the palm of your hand. Because already you have created doubt in his own mind that he has the strength to continue against someone like myself.
Don't quit! Come on, Rock! 2 more!
the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm... Now, I can't make you do it. You got to look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who will go that inch.
You know what? Maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show.